name is John Michael El Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is Team Captain. One fun fact about myself is I started playing games since I was young and even won a physical prize. Ang gaming setup ko ay simple lang. Phone ko, earphones, isang unan, pulbos, at isang boteng tubig. Nagsimula akong maglaro ng Free Fire noong November 2017, pinakilala kasi ito sa akin ng aking kaibigan, and proud akong sabihin na isa ako sa mga beta player. The game is very fun and competitive, at kahit sobrang tagal ko na naglalaro ng Free Fire, bawat match o laro is still as exciting as the day noong nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire. Ang best moment ko ay nung ginamit ko ang grenade launcher to do a squad wipe in FFPO Grand Finals Game 2, and it gave my team a momentum to get a booyah in that round. Isa sa pangarap ko ang maging professional esports player. Madami ako nasalihan at naipanalong tournament kaya nang sumikap ako hanggang sa nabot ko pagiging pro player. Isa pang dahilan ay kumikita ako ng pera habang ginagawa ko yung hilig ko. After matapos ng MCP Season 1, umalis yung dalawa kong player at dahil invited ang team ko sa MCP Season 2, naganap ako ng 2 player para ma-meet yung requirement. Nirecommend ng kaibigan ko yung dalawang player na kakilala niya na may experience sa tournament kaya agad ko sila ni-recruit upang mabuo ang SAP Deathwish na ang tawag ngayon ay Betty Esports. Yung time na sa sobrang 74 beats, nampas niya ng unan sa mukha si Damon nung nagawa namin maging top 3 sa Group A play-ins ng Free Fire Asia Championship. Want to know how I play? Catch me on Free Fire Challengers Philippines. Tara, Free Fire!
Waves right now is in there going in, taking down
Potatoes,
but no, Sao has been taken down. AKO right now is in prime position.
Blake's not going to be too happy about that, but there's nothing he can do. Mark shuts down Fire before he can get away, and those snipes. The backup might just come through. They go in for the pickup, but what a play! Axis gets taken out of the equation as well. Reveyolas gets into the fight against Equinox. Equinox shutting them down one after the other. Pax will get caught as well, and it looks like the players are making esports with McRory. Stop that. Tokyo now back on the ground. McRory from afar. Grenade launcher not in play just yet. McRory, the Kobe of AJ Esports, finally pulls out that nade. Is he going to be able to hit it? Yes, he hits it! In here, Blocky takes those shots against Newgen. Newgen! Newgen! They will be able to bag a lot, but Newgen themselves gets eliminated by Trot WYS. And now Eva Radicals making their way in here to the final zone. Golden Views, Wizkid as well taken out. A double nade being sent by Tanamo as well as Rabiel. But Trot WYS finishes them as well with those nades, Neptune. JC Jacob, he just has got machine in front of him, pulls out the castle flash, and the plan goes for the pickup right now. And they will have 2 players on their side, but not a lot of cover.
Oh, and there goes the hit. Aiko will be flying out and will be hit. Will be able to run away, AJ, but how long?
name is John Michael L. Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is team captain. One fun fact about myself is I started playing games since I was young and even won a physical prize. Ang gaming setup ko ay simple lang. Phone ko, earphones, isang unan, pulbos, at isang boteng tubig. Nagsimula akong maglaro ng Free Fire noong November 2017. Pinakilala kasi ito sa akin ng aking kaibigan. And proud akong sabihin na isa ako sa mga beta player. The game is very fun and competitive. At kahit sobrang tagal ko na naglalaro ng Free Fire, bawat match o laro is still as exciting as the day noong nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire. Ang best moment ko ay nung ginamit ko ang grenade launcher to do a squad wipe in FFPO Grand Finals Game 2 and it gave my team a momentum to get a booyah in that round. Isa sa pangarap ko ang maging professional esports player. Madami ako nasalihan at naipanalo ng tournament kaya nang sumikap ako hanggang sa nabot kay pagiging pro player. Isa pang dahilan ay kumikita ako ng pera habang ginagawa ko yung hilig ko. After matapos ng MCP Season 1, umalis yung dalawang player at dahil invited ang team ko sa MCP Season 2, naganap ako ng 2 player para ma-meet yung requirement. Nirecommend ng kaibigan ko yung dalawang player na kakilala niya na may experience sa tournament kaya agad ko sila ni-recruit upang mabuo ang SAP Death Wish na ang tawag ngayon ay Betty Esports. Yung time na sa sobrang Seni 4 beats, nampas niya ng unan sa mukha si Damon nung nagawa namin maging top 3 sa Group A play-ins ng Free Fire Asia Championship. Want to know how I play? Catch me on Free Fire Challengers Philippines. Tara, Free Fire!
Yeah, Weaves right now is in there going in, taking down
Oh,
the potatoes,
wow.
but no, Sao has been taken down. AKO right now is in prime position.
Blade's not going to be too happy about that, but there's nothing he can do. Mark shuts down Bayern before he can get away, and those snipes. The backup might just come through. They go in for the pickup, but what a play! Actions get taken out of the equation as well. Revejonas gets into the fight against Equinox. Equinox shutting them down one after the other. Hack will get caught as well, and it looks like the players are making one with McRory. Stop that. Tokyo now back on the ground. McRory from afar. Grenade launcher not in play just yet. McRory, the Kobe of AJ Esports, finally pulls out that nade. Is he going to be able to hit it? Yes, he hits it! In here, Blocky takes those shots against Newgen. Newgen! Newgen! They will be able to bag a lot, but Newgen themselves gets eliminated by Trot WYS. And now Eva Radicals making their way in here to the final zone. Golden Views, Whisket as well taken out. A double nade being sent by Tanamo as well as Rabiel! But Trot WYS finishes them as well with those nades, Neptune! JC Jacob, he just has got shit in front of him, pulls out the castle flash, and the plan goes for the pickup right now. And they will have 2 players on their side, but not a lot of cover.
Oh, and there goes the hit.
Okay,
Eagle will be flying out and will be hit. Will be able to run away, AJ, but how long?
name is John Michael El Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is team captain. One fun fact about myself is I started playing games since I was young and even won a physical prize. Ang gaming setup ko ay simple lang. Phone ko, earphones, isang unan, pulbos, at isang boteng tubig. Nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire noong November 2017, pinakilala kasi ito sa akin ng aking kaibigan, and proud akong sabihin na isa ako sa mga beta player. The game is very fun and competitive, at kahit sobrang tagal ko na naglalaro ng Free Fire, bawat match o laro is still as exciting as the day noong nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire. Ang best moment ko ay nung ginamit ko ang grenade launcher to do a squad wipe in FFPO Grand Finals Game 2, and it gave my team a momentum to get a booyah in that round. Isa sa pangarap ko ang maging professional esports player. Madami ako nasalihan at naipanalo ng tournament kaya nang sumikap ako hanggang sa nabot kay pagiging pro player. Isa pang dahilan ay kumikita ako ng pera habang ginagawa ko yung hilig ko. After matapos ng MCP Season 1, umalis yung dalawa kong player at dahil invited ang team ko sa MCP Season 2, naganap ako ng 2 player para ma-meet yung requirement. Nirecommend ng kaibigan ko yung dalawang player na kakilala niya na may experience sa tournament kaya agad ko sila ni-recruit upang mabuo ang SAP Deathwish na ang tawag ngayon ay Betty Esports. Yung time na sa sobrang 74 beats, nampas niya ng unan sa mukha si Damon nung nagawa namin maging top 3 sa Group A play-ins ng Free Fire Asia Championship. Want to know how I play? Catch me on Free Fire Challengers Philippines. Tara, Free Fire!
Waves right now is in there going in, taking down
Oh,
the Crusaders,
wow.
but no Sao has been taken down. AKO right now is in prime position.
Blade's not going to be too happy about that, but there's nothing he can do. Mark shuts down Bayern before he can get away, and those snipes. The backup might just come through. They go in for the pickup, but what a play! Axis gets taken out of the equation as well. Revejonas gets into the fight against Equinox. Equinox shutting them down one after the other. Hack will get caught as well, and it looks like the players are making forward with McRory. Stop that. Tokyo now back on the ground. McRory from afar. Grenade launcher not in play just yet. McRory, the Kobe of AJ Esports, finally pulls out that nade. Is he going to be able to hit it? Yes, he hits it! In here, Blocky takes those shots against Newgen. Newgen! Newgen! They will be able to bag a lot, but Newgen themselves gets eliminated by Trot WYS. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Free Fire Challenger Series Philippines, where the top 17 Free Fire teams within the country have gathered to fight it out for a huge prize pool in here today. My name is the AJ Mustachio. Down with me at the casting desk, the one and only Fantastic Beef Mommy is back to entertain all of us. So welcome back, Beef.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Like, I honestly haven't casted in so long, and I'm so glad I'm casting it with you, AJ. I've been watching every week, and I can't believe we're already here in week number 4. 3 weeks just went by just like that, AJ.
Absolutely. And tell me, I think I'm gonna make a assumption, a quick guess here. The part that you missed the most is the Colby's out of McRory. Please tell me I'm wrong.
Oh no, I've seen that. I've seen that. Like, he basically wiped out 2-3 people, squad wiped everyone. So it's just like, I really want to see it for myself, and that's why I'm so excited to start today's matchup.
Well, the one thing he will not disappoint is a few more grenades in here for the day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But you know, all of the strategy up in here will be absolutely nothing if you do not have the right hardware on you. Infinix Mobile is the official sponsor of the Free Fire Philippines Open. Fire up your game with Infinix's best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S.
Absolutely. The Infinite Note 11S is a powerful little smartphone, and it's powered up by the Helio G96 Ultra gaming processor. So fire up your game and get this now for only 9,990 pesos. So that's honestly like a really great thing to start with, especially if you really want to up your game. And now, speaking of upping your game, a lot of these teams have been really performing the past few weeks, but some have faltered along the way. So one of these teams that I really want to talk about, obviously, Vedi, have been such an amazing team, especially in days number 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. I mean, coming in here, being great on a couple of days, absolutely solid. But can they maintain that consistency, right? It looks like so far they can, because throughout all of the stats, be it placement points, kill points, or whatever it is, even the booyah, they are right on the top. And yes, they want to show us exactly who's the dominant ones, but it's also a little bit of a play for that prize pool, right? A lot in here to play for. And of course, even at the league stages, everybody gets a little piece of the pie. The only difference is how big a slice you get for yourself. 2,500 pesos at the very bottom, from the 15th all the way down to the 18th spot. So that's your consolation prize. 5,000 pesos if you place between the 11th and the 14th place. 7,500 if you take the 9th or 10th position. Now, starting from the 8th spot onwards, yeah, you can buy the Infinix Note 11s. 10,000 pesos for those who slot in that 5th to the 8th spot. 15,000 pesos for the 4th place. 25,000 for 3rd spot. 50,000 for the 2nd place. And 75,000 for those who place in number 1. But beef, that is nothing in comparison to the next page for the grand finals.
Oh, I want to see it already, because obviously you get to see a lot of these players really work for the money. And you can see the really blaring difference from the 1st to the 12th spot. 5,000 pesos, you can't even buy an Infinix smartphone. It's like 5,000 pesos, you're 2,000 pesos off. And now going into that first spot, 400,000 pesos. Now, that is definitely something you really want to get, especially if you're going into the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And there's a really big difference going into the 4th and 6th place already.
Oh, absolutely right. Huge disparity between that 1st spot and the 2nd spot. I mean, and let's not talk about the 1st spot between the 12th spot, right? Consolation price, indeed, it is if you don't really bag a lot for yourself. But, moving away from the prize pool, which, thank you, Garina, is as amazing as always. I mean, these guys just keep stepping it up, and it's only possible because of the pro players out there who keep impressing us with all of these plays, as well as you guys, of course, the audience, you survivors who are in Free Fire playing it out every single day. And of course, the way to get up, we all know, it's the regular point system that we follow. Beef, 0 points if you place in the 11th or 12th spot. 10th spot gets you 1 point, 1 point in addition for every single position that you improve, all the way up to the 2nd place. And of course, 12 points for that number 1 spot, the booyah. And of course, if you do manage to get a few kills, you know exactly what you get.
I mean, we've seen one team really just shine in this department. It's going to be Ever Radicals, because they haven't really gotten a lot of booyahs, just one, but then their kill points are absolutely crazy. And that's the reason why they're going to be into that 4th spot. They really deserve that. And that's why it's important to have like that little bit of a balance. And the top 4, they're basically kind of in a interesting position, because these 3 groups that we have right now, especially since the shuffle, it has definitely changed the way all of these teams have performed.
And of course, this was that shuffle that you're referring to, which I am not only surprised with, but absolutely shocked with, right? Because, right after the shuffles, a majority of the MVP titles that have been picked so far is still within Group A, right? That is just something that I cannot deal with, because now you've got the best of the best of the best squads all lumped up into this one group. But we also have New Gen in there, and they've most definitely been struggling. AKO Ligers, Eva Radicals, Govilum Views, Vete Esports, as well as Who's Next. All of these teams, you can see them up there in the top 6, top 7.
Yeah, and you just see them on the left side as the ranking, and on the right side, you get to see groups from Group B and C. And what I can see here from Group B, you got Black Angel, Bloody Head, Ego, Oblivions, The Vindicators, and Trod WYS. From this group, you only get to see Bloody Head really perform, and they've been really impressive to me so far, especially seeing them really have their run from that last season. They really improved so much. And now taking a look at the other side, Group C, this is where you kind of see a lot of, I guess, teams that have been faltering as well. AB Crusaders, Axis, Equinox, Monkey Tribe, Rev Iolus, and VPH Velocity. Out of all the teams here, VPH Velocity is the one that stands out. They are at that sixth spot,
Yeah.
and they do have the chance to really just bag any spot from the second, third, fourth, and fifth spot.
Absolutely right, because there's just not many points between all of them. But the one thing VPH Velocity will be struggling with is maintaining their consistency in these stacked lobbies. So they really have to look for the blessing that, Garena Free Fire has given them by putting them in Group C. And when they take on Group B, they are the most dominant ones. But of course, the match kind of opens up. The gods of RNG are not that kind each and every single round. RNG just really gives all of these players a kick in the butt sometimes to just work a little bit harder by throwing them into positions they just didn't look out for. But some of those things can be prevented by a little bit of homework, Beef.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of homework, I hope that these teams have done such massive homework, because we only have 2 days left to prove if you are worthy to be part of our finals. And going in there, you need to worry about where you're going to position yourselves early enough, and especially the map.
Yeah.
So here we do have Bermuda and Kalahari just lined up for you today. And I can already tell that a lot of teams kind of struggle in these particular maps. So it's really going to go down to how they're going to use their strengths, how they're going to do plays into the early game, and rotating into that last matchup. Because what I've learned in the past few days that I've been watching this, you're not supposed to allow a team like Betty to actually gatekeep you, because they're usually at the outskirts.
Oh, yeah.
And if you play against that, you can probably try to win that, because honestly, you can see here, these teams right now that you see on the screen, all of them can actually stop a team like Betty to be at the top of their game.
Absolutely right. There's a reason why we've been keeping our eyes on Equinox. They've, rised up by 1 rank. They managed to get a booyah last week as well. Very slowly, we see those, little bouts of improvements coming along. But when we look at AB Crusaders, this is just us keeping an eye out for them, because we see exactly the same, but in fewer bouts when it comes to great plays out of the team. But they have most definitely got it in them. AKO Ligers, on the other hand, a totally different story. At one point, the team that was holding on, or at the very least chasing for those booyah ranks, those booyah breakers. But unfortunately for them, they've been left in the dust, slowly climbing up, but 54 points away from Wayte Esports, who sit in that number 1 place, right? So no matter how much they try to climb up to that number 1 rank, they seem to be struggling, because there are those who are a little bit more better. But AKO, don't forget, they were on the 2nd page at one point. They jumped up all the way into the 3rd spot, all in one day. A lot can still happen in here, Beef.
Absolutely. And speaking of something that you don't really get to see that often, you see Equinox really just jump into that page, kind of like AV, like what you said, right? They went from being the 10th spot on the right side of the page, because you want to be on the left. They've basically gone up 2 places. And for Equinox, they could really get that momentum and really just outshine other teams that are kind of in the running to get kicked out of the 9th spot. So you have VPH Velocity and who's next that are kind of in the middle ground. They're not safe. And basically, the Vindicators and Equinox, they want to go higher up in that ranking.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Because getting to the left-hand side of the leaderboard basically means you've kind of cleared away from the 12th spot. Unfortunate situation. Like you mentioned, Beef, just 2 more days to get a lot done. And that's not a lot at all if you've been struggling to find some of these great momentum. And when you look at those teams between the 13th all the way down to that 17th spot, we're talking about Trot WYS, Monkey Tribe, Black Angel, AV Crusaders. I want to throw New Gen into that mix as well. Yeah, I guess we can throw them into the mix, right? You don't really see a lot of standout moments from New Gen. Unlike Black Angel and Monkey Tribe, they've had their moments in there, but overall still struggling overall to kind of pick those points up.
Yeah, I mean, this is do or die for all of these teams. You only have this week left, and we're starting it off here in Bermuda. This classic map, there's a lot of action that can happen here because you have a lot of cover. You can definitely use a vehicle to go around the place, but you shouldn't allow a team that, basically goes around and is really aggressive, like, the Radical team that, we've been seeing. And You know what, AJ? What we've been seeing in the past few weeks, we know the spots that all of these teams have been going. You know, VD's gonna go down in Shipyard, and you gotta stop this team. I've actually noticed when someone tries to stop VD early on into the game, that's when they actually not have a good run into this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, when you catch some key players off guard, for example, when you drop McRory, he is the captain, he is your in-game leader, and when you lose that leadership and you lose, because, you know, when you talk about these in-game leaders, it's all about the awareness within that matchup itself as to how do we best respond in this situation to overcome our opponents, right? And when you lose such an important, you know, piece of the puzzle, you don't really get to bag a lot within that final circle itself. But as we look at AKO, they are quite far away from those rest of the teams. Peak in here is exactly where they've chosen to land, and I don't think Toby is quite near to any one of his teammates.
And that's going to be a little bit tricky if you're going to be too far away from your team. But you get to see the kind of strategies that work out for each team, because sometimes being bunched up together, it doesn't work out because you can get taken out by just a grenade. And you've been seeing it. It's been so prevalent here that one grenade can really just ruin your whole run here in this matchup. So again, we're taking a look at Eagle right now, and we've seen these names already. They've been performing a little bit so-so. So I really want to see them really just, you know, perform really well, because they only have 2 days left. They need to get all of the points down and also rank high enough.
Yeah, sitting down in the 12th spot right now. They're most definitely one of those teams that are nervous, and with Pepper getting taken down so early on by a player from the side of the Vindicators, it doesn't look good for them. But of course, as usual, Ego Oblivions, they will find a way to survive and get into that final zone. Because if there's something that we know about Ego Oblivions, they really know how to play their placement points, right? 148 points so far in the competition. 112 of those come from placement points. Only 36 from kills. They are not aggressive people.
Yeah, they just want to, you know, kick it back and let the other people try to kill each other. And speaking of, this is what we're going to be seeing right now. It's going to be Wills versus Bloodyhead. And now this is the kind of conversation that I wanted to kind of give to the audience right now. Wills had a struggle into, you know, the first season here. And right now I feel like they're a different team. They've improved so much, because before, Embolor was the one that would only frag out. But now he's found a team that can actually give him some support, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. I mean, it just seems like Go Willem views have improved so much, and it's only because of all of the strategy that they've been pulling off. I mean, the Wiz kid has been absolutely stellar with all of her camouflage plays. It's so much so that the other players in the competition have been looking at Go Willem views, looking at Wiz, and kind of nicking off some of her strategies in here, right? Because she really proves exactly what works. Kanoho! From afar will be able to get that knock onto Shanks, but waste a few of his bullets is all he does. But the plus point there is those warning shots are more than enough to get Trot WYS backing away from Kotatua, so they don't really have to worry as they continue looting. We go back in here to Go Willem views. Bloody Heads, they have split off into a buddy system here, a very great way to engage. Morgana sticking together with Cryfu. They have got the range engagement, but Mbalore, no grenades in hand, does have the double vectors. He needs to close that distance, and he's doing that quite well. But he needs to be careful, though. Barely any of those glue walls on him. But the saving grace once again here, Cryfu has got none on him.
Oh, this is going to be very difficult for Wales, because they don't have any cover. They barely have enough walls to actually go and cover them up from all the bullets that Bloody Heads have been giving them. But taking a look at the map right now, you get to see the map already closing in very slowly. And it's going to be the northeastern part of the map where you can see a lot of the teams are already have who's next already positioned. But everyone else here in Mars Electric needs to have a move on soon. But Wales might have a hard time, but they need to go in there as a team and push away Bloody Heads.
That nade being cooked up already by Santino. Does he have eyes? Yes, Cryfu hit just a little bit, just nicked a tiny bit, and he will not worry. Cooks that nade right back up. Mark goes in for those shots. Glue wall right in front. Can he get behind? Yes, he does. Place his angles really smart. 2 glue walls so far. And Balore over aggressors. Mark gets away in the nick of time. Pulls out the time turner just in case. But now Mark, he has got a little bit of backup. The rest of those players from Go Willem views come in for the attack as well. It's a 3 versus 4. Opening up in the nade first. Morgana turns around. And Balore down on the ground. But unfortunately gets taken out as well. Nobody comes in there for the pickup just yet. Time turner pulled out a little bit too late. And this is breaking down terribly for Go Willem views.
Oh, the push going in there very aggressively,
Miss.
and Valoria just it didn't pay off, and now you see the bush, right? It whiz. Come on, you can do it, girl. I know you can get one more kill, but Bloody Head is actually doing such a good job right now with responding to the aggression right now, Wills.
Oh, but 3 kills taken up by Santino already. Bloody Head now just needs to play the game of survival. Just beyond the horizon, ladies, German boys and girls, there will be a little bit of challenge in the form of New Gen, but it's not something they really have to worry about. New Gen, if I call the players of Ego Oblivion's, non-aggressive, I believe New Gen is the tamer version of non-aggressive.
I mean, you gotta go in there and pick up the kills. If you are new gen, like you get to see a lot of gunfights going in there. If you wanna engage, then do so. But honestly, going in from the outside and not having a lot of cover, it's gonna be very tricky. But since you see Wheels, it's just basically hunting down for one more player. Cryfu is gonna have a hard time, and he basically sandwiched between two teams. He can't get out, so all he can do is just hide.
Yeah, and I think Cryfu has got a great opportunity here as long as he has got enough. Nah, the guy barely has anything on him, right? 0 glue walls, 0 grenades, has got a couple of guns around him, but not a lot of bullets. He cannot take this fight against New Gen because he has got the mechanical capability of taking this solo versus squads. But New Gen, looking at New Gen, understanding who they are, how they are, they back away from that situation. They want nothing to do with another squad right now.
Passive. That's the game that they're trying to play right now. Hopefully it doesn't bite them in the butt later on. But we are taking a look at a very aggressive team if they have to be aggressive. So Vidi being a top dog of this team, top 1 here so far, but going up against a very capable team as well, it's going to be Ava. And it's not going to be easy because, you get to see Daemoon getting slapped by the pillow, but right now he's slapping some grenades all the way over there.
Well, McRory
Finally getting a lot of these shots.
Yeah, already with an early knock in here, but no takedown just yet. That will be quickly recovered by the players of Eva Radicals. And now, yes, the safe zone coming in with a little bit of pressure beef, but there's not a lot of damage. But Tanamo knocked down onto the ground already. There's no pickup coming through just yet. And in the nick of time, you do see his team members stepping right back in outside of the zone. That's a play you cannot risk taking.
Exactly, and you can see they're just running away, and at this point, Lesgo's already kind of just chasing them, kind of like a cat and mouse type of situation. This is kind of like unseen from Eva Radicals because you get to see that they're very aggressive, but for some reason right now, they're not handling it very well, and right now they're going to be chased down at the corner, and they're basically being surrounded by now by all of the Betty guys and just trying to get them one by one. You can see here, they're using it to perfection. They're just applying that pressure, and you can see that they're going to be backed up at the corner right now.
Yeah, this is a battle between two titans outside of the safe zone. They are just going to be wasting a lot of their utilities here in this fight, continuously healing themselves up. Let's go. Has got 4 more medkits on him, 2 glue walls to expand a lot of this distance between himself as well as the rest of those players from Eva Radicals cut down already. And the aggressive players, Eva Radicals, actually backing away from Vete Esports. They know who they're going up against, and they want nothing of it. Fura down onto the ground. Vete, 4-bit will go ahead, aggress on. Daemoon down. Eva Radicals, they hit back.
Oh, you can see there, Let's Go already having a very hard time. Forbits go down as well. It's all up to Captain McRory to go and try to find a play, but it's going to be so difficult because he's just so far away. And now, as I thought that it was going to be Eva Radicals, that's going to be backed up in the corner, you get to see Vidi's actually going to be over pushing, and now they pay the price. McRory's going to be the only person left, but we already know this guy can handle and really have like multi-kills, especially if he has a grenade launcher in hand.
Yeah, good luck, McRory, but what a takedown by Eva Radicals. Just playing possum, backing away, not super aggressive, just suckering all of those Vete Esports players in before turning around, shutting them down, right? And it was an amazing play because just one player from the side of Eva Radicals kind of pulls them away, and they set up that backstab, and that was just executed to perfection. Vete Esports still have got McRory in here for the survival. He should be able to get them placement points, and like you said, the guy can actually bag a few crazy kills in that final zone as well, and it all now depends to luck. It all depends on his scavenging ability to find those grenades, find that rocket launcher, and just not show his face up until the final circle beef.
And here we go. Speaking of a team that, has been struggling just a little bit, it's going to be Trot WYS, just sitting here very pretty, going into the edge of the circle as it's closing down. But we are taking a look right now of another team that has been really passive, that we really want them to just go and have a little bit of, engagement. But again, I don't even know if they know that there's one person right beside them.
Yeah. And for teams like New Gen, AV Crusaders, they okay, AV Crusaders as well as New Gen 2 teams specifically, they really need to find a lot of improvements, right? But when we talk about teams like Monkey Tribe as well as Black Angel, they've been able to pick up some of these moments that New Gen kind of just fails to find for themselves. But as I say that, Huenda gets himself into the perfect position of all to grab a play of Ego Oblivion, sending right back into that lobby. Great play from New Gen in terms of the hunt, and they're just picking off one by one all of those players near the outside of that zone. And as long as they can keep this up and maintain their numbers game, they should be able to bag this, right? Hopefully things go well for them, because goodness knows they need some points, Beef.
Yes, they definitely need to pick it up. And for now, I think it's kind of working out for them. They finally get to have a kill. And speaking of possible kill over here, we get to see who's next. Tokyo having sights of one person's AKO, Jiboya, going to be in a little bit of a pickle if we get to see him spotted there. But speaking of, oh no, as I said it, I feel like I did the caster curse. Oh no, VDR spots him right there. One goes down, and that's going to be so unfortunate to see.
Yeah, my question is, what in the world was that guy doing out there in the water all alone? Because he's not the final player of New Gen. And one wonders why they are at the bottom of the leaderboard. One wonders, eh? If only we could find out who's next on the other end. Like you said, keeping an eye on AKO. Jaboyeva right in front, but Jaboyeva, he does have the GAR 98 on him. He spotted these players up top already. And who's next? They have to play this really carefully, because although they have got the opportunity of getting the bird's eye view, it's really easy to hit those headshots, and AKO will not be shying away from those opportunities.
Absolutely. You can see here, they have a really nice vantage point. Like, to be honest, it's probably one of the best I've seen here so far in this game, because you can basically see a 360 of every single angle. But the problem is, if too many teams actually get to hear that you are there, then you are going to be stuck. And just like that, you can fall from grace. So hopefully they get to have a bunch of kills. If they don't get kills, reposition, because as soon as that, the circle is going to be closing in little by little, and it's going to be at the center peak right now. That's going to be very difficult to have, but it's a good thing for them. AKO already positioned very well.
I would like to highlight this great journey by the one and only McRory. Long range, he travels with the vehicle very clearly with the speed of getting in towards the next zone. Not only is he safe, he's also positioned prime a spot right now, and nobody is in around him. He's doing great in terms of the game of survival. Who's next? Funky now on the ground. Eklock with the shot out of nowhere. And now who's next needs to deal with AKO, VDR, as well as New Gen potentially.
And that's going to be a lot of teams already being gate-kept already, but we're taking a look. Wheels right now, Embalor not going to be in the game, but it doesn't really matter because everyone else in his team can go and deliver. And that's the difference between what they were in the past season and what they are now, which is greatness. But you were actually kind of making a point a while ago, AJ. It's going to be another member from Bloody Heads. That's the only one left. Kraifu is actually right beside McRory, so I'm really hoping to see that they'll find each other somehow.
What? Eklock actually shuts down Funky. Hawkeye is out as well. VDR really going in here to strike. And now who's next? They have to deal with Yadop suffering the fate in front of three of these players. Yes, he pulls out the time turner, but for how long can he stand? Absolutely not long at all. Kanoho from afar. AKO chipping in as well to this fight. And now the Vindicators, they need to face them off as the zone will be forcing them in. And AKO will be able to gatekeep well as VDR backs away. Trot WYS there to serve up some good shots as well. It's not a great spot if you are the players from Vindicators.
It's not a good spot, but they've been playing really, really good here so far. So I feel like they've been changing a lot of their strategy here, and they've been just getting a lot of these points here so far. But what they need to do now, they need to go in and really just find some cover. Here we go, Toby Cuties having a lot of these shots unknown going down already, and this is a prime position for him to get one more kill. And VDR, they just do it a little bit too far, and the circle is probably going to do its job, and they're going to have a very difficult time going and pushing into the side of the circle.
This is an all-out buffet for the players of AKO. New new gen stepping into their compound as well. They shut them down. And now Go Willem Views. Trot WYS sees their exit way too quickly in there. And they will be able to get in towards that next zone. Views with just 3 players bagging the 6th kill in here so far. Still hunting for more. Sees a glue wall in front. No way, Jose. I'm going to take it down and check exactly who's behind that. Finds absolutely no one. A little bit disappointed. But what they can be happy with is they've got a great spot. Unlike Eva Radicals and AKO, these two Titans now need to face it off before getting into a safer spot.
And it's going to be very tricky, and I feel like just one team is going to be going out here, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a whole squad coming out here alive, because it's going to be very, very tricky to get out of this. They're just scrambling to get a lot of cover here. Glue walls going down. You can see here Tanamo having 2 kills already to his name, getting a lot of shots, but Barbara goes down. Already going down. Tanamo is getting a lot of these shots, and finally get to see Barbara going down. Führer doing a lot of damage already, even though he only has 0 kills, wanting to have his first one.
But unfortunately for him, time turner gameplay from the side. Oh my lord! Führer out of nowhere! He bags the triple, and he makes sure Eva Radicals will continue staying in the fight. A couple of pickups for him, and Eva Radicals will be ready for the next circle. Whilst the players of Go Willem Views now spot out Black Angel, and let's see if they can shut them down. Black Angel on the trajectory of success very recently as they started their climb for the 12th spot, and now not too far away, making it into this final circle now. They should be able to give themselves a lot of leeway over the rest of those players. Siaki, what a grenade launcher! Wizkid shut down already. Looks like no more camouflages, and this is a whole new Black Angel squad beef.
And they've been doing such a good job here. And even though, yes, they only have 1 kill, they are primed and positioned in a really good, advantage point where no one actually has. But they need to move right now. They need to get a lot of these kills. But Bloody had eliminated. Führer gets 4 from 0 to 4 really quick at the very late game. And you can see Black Angel is there. That's their next sight. Black Angel needs to go and step up.
Yeah, Eva Radicals, Führer aiming for an MVP for himself. I mean, Eva Radicals, the one team with the most numbers of MVP in the competition so far. And now they are stepping it up once again, and it looks like this is their day. Can they keep it up? Oh my lord, Eva Radicals. It's going to be Tadamo as well as Führer with all of those shots. 11 kills on the board right now. Go Willem Views right in front of them. Here comes the grenade launcher, Sentino. A lot of pressure being played, but it is a 2 versus 2. Duo versus duo. What's going to happen, B?
And here we go, Tanamo, 3 kills already, but Führer already going on a rampage, 5 kills already to his name, but then Santino goes down, Govilheim is eliminated, and finally, our first booyah of the day. Eva Radicals just claiming it for this first hit. Here we go, you get to see Führer he started off 0 into the late game, AJ, and then ending it with a 5, that is just crazy.
I will be shocked if we finish off round 1 and 2, and as usual, when we crown the MVP, it's not Führer, right? Because usually when you see those MVPs, you see, 8 kills, 10 kills. The guy's already bagged 7 in the very first match. And if there's anything that we know about Eva Radicals, they are the most aggressive team out there who goes out hunting for kills. And they kind of showed us a little bit of their passive play in the past couple of weeks. And it looks like they are right back. Sorry, I have to say past couple of days. Looks like they are right back on their high momentum here, Beef.
Absolutely. And I just want to talk about that last circle for a bit, because Black Angels could have had a lot of kills already. They had the advantage of having walls and protecting them, but they just couldn't. They didn't even rotate enough to go inside the circle.
Yeah.
But you also saw Wills steal the kills right now of Führer, because he was giving a lot of shots, but all Wills had to do was literally shoot 1 bullet, and it was them. It was their kill.
Yeah, because they were right beside them, right? And it's just amazing that Eva Radicals, with such a long distance between themselves as well as their opponents, were bringing on so much of damage. And that's exactly what we've known them for all this while in the competition. And they kind of slacked off in terms of the aggressive department, right? They kind of just slacked off. and other teams like Go Views, AKO, even AKO overstepped Eva Radicals. And I think it is just their time now to step right back up and pull the title of the most dominant team right back here in the final 2 days. But the question is, will it be something that they can hit? Because, you know, all of those other teams, specifically Go Views, AKO, as well as Wayday Esports, they now have the confidence of bagging big as well, B.
And we just need to see what happened into the last few moments. That it's so surprising because VD just was eliminated early, and obviously it was Eva Radicals that was, you know, their haymaker. And it's really scary to see with a team like Eva Radicals that they don't get a lot of booyahs. They've only had one in this competition before today. They usually get to this point. They're at the second spot because of the kills.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry, in the fourth spot just because of kills. And now that they're doing both, getting kills and booyahs, now that is something very scary for the other teams to see.
And this is something that, you know, I've kind of talked about to Neptune as well. I had the theory that Eva Radicals were not playing placement points on purpose. They were just going all out, focusing on kills, just because they wanted to sharpen up their skills, right? They wanted to sharpen up all of their mechanical capabilities against the best of the best players in the Philippines, which just makes them a cracked team overall. And when they do want to focus back on those placement points, it seems like it is not an issue at all. I mean, taking Wayday Esports in a fight, making them look like absolutely nothing. They met AKO Ligers, they shut them down. They met Govilum Youth. Yes, Black Angel kind of had the shots first, but they bagged them. Bloody Head, one of those performing teams, they bagged them. Eva Radicals kind of went up against all of the other Titans and proved in this one round alone that they are no match for them at all. But will the numbers kind of prove that at the end of the day? 25-point bomb dropped in here by Eva Radicals as they secure more kill points compared to their placements as usual. But the important thing here is, Beef, like you pointed out, they have started picking up those placements again.
Yeah, this is what we keep saying a while ago, like how scary these numbers are, because you got 13 kill points, plus you get the 12 placement points as well, 25 points. That is just really high points that you need here. And this is the crucial moments going into the finals where you want to put your A game on. But honestly, a team that I really want to commend is, or maybe just like one person, is Cryfu from Bloody Heads. Like, imagine the guy just being there. Unfortunately, you know, a guy like Fuhrer just spots him out of nowhere and hates him, and it's the end of him. But he was able to get those placement points for his team. And taking a look at that, that's 7 points. That's going to be very important for them.
Extremely important, right? I mean, Bloody Head just surviving, you know, in the 5th spot here because of Cryfu's plays. And when you get into a situation like that, what other choice do you have except to play for placement? But it's easier said than done, because with a lobby so full of Apex Predators out there, it's not easy surviving, which is why Black Angel deserves some commendation in here as well. They have gotten 8 with those placement points, 1 kill overall. I'm not going to hold it against them. Black Angel overall 9 points as they continue to search for the 12th placement. They just need to keep this up. Vindicators, as usual, stepping it up as they come in here to represent Group B, and they are looking to overtake Who's Next. Looking at the fact that Who's Next kind of bagged out the 11th spot, they should have been able to do that in this round. Just wrapping up the leaderboards, New Gen, Vaytay Esports, Trot WYS, Ego, Oblivions in the 6th all the way down to that 10th spot. And this has just been round number 1. A lot of promise in this game for us to kind of figure out exactly how the rest of the day is gonna go, Beef.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I just really want to see all the people who were kind of struggling in the beginning kind of just climb up the ranks, because we see the Vindicators doing such a great job, mind you. And Kalasa and Who's Next just going in there at the very last spot, having 0 points, 0 kills. That is so surprising, because they're up in the 7th. They shouldn't be too comfortable with that kind of score. And now the Vindicators are slowly ranking up, and they have 81 and 78. So that's not going to be very easy to do if you are a team that really wants to rank up.
Yeah, absolutely right. The Vindicators, if there's one thing that they really need to aim for right now, is just getting a booyah for themselves. in the top 12, they, apart from Ego Oblivions, the only ones who don't really have one for themselves. But the Vindicators, they've been doing quite all right so far by not falling too far back in the aggressive department, in the department of aggression, because they do manage to get those long-range engagements. They do manage to take those fights pretty well, and a lot of pressure is played by them a lot of these times. It's just that they play that aggression way too early. I don't like that play. I just want to see them pop off a little bit more in the final circle. Something like what Vete Esports does. It's just unfortunate that Vete Esports came across Eva Radicals a little early, but as we drop into Kalahari, things will most definitely change, Beef.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's really up to those teams that kind of have a hard time here in Kalahari, because you already know it's all about the verticality here. You need to be up top in order to just get a lot of those kills already. And you already know that VD's probably going to be going down into Stone Ridge. They have such a good play here that, let's see, Bloody Heads, I hope that they kind of stop VD, because they could probably gatekeep them. But at this point, I'm not quite sure if they're just too comfortable with that. But you can see it's going to be very difficult, because Black Angels are going to be meeting up VD. That's going to be very hard for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As long as they don't really go in towards the middle part of the map, a little too soon. Perhaps Black Angel gets a little lucky. They find, that zip line, and who am I kidding? Daemoon and Let's Go will shut them down a little too quicker than we anticipate. So, yeah, Black Angel's in a tough spot, Beef.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why you kind of have to do your homework, right? Yeah. You already know 90% of the time, VD's going to be there. And Black Angels, you know what? Hopefully it's a play that they can really pull off, because what I've noticed is that when a team tries to gatekeep VD early on in that particular part of the map, that's when they have a really poor performance. But for Black Angels to do so, that is a really big risk on their end.
I mean, they are angels.
Angels. They can fly. They got wings.
Yeah, and literally sticking true to their name, they've picked the least amount of mortal sin. They have killed the least number of players out there on the battlefield in the competition so far. Vete Esports, on the other hand, has got the most number of kills in the competition so far. So the math doesn't check out. I don't understand why they want to play such a risky drop. But we'll see, because sometimes the Angels have had a helping hand from the gods of RNG.
And that's true. It's all about waiting here, but it's a really unfortunate thing, because VD already knows that Black Angel's already up there, and they will definitely take this advantage to, get a lot of these points already. Black Angels needs to try to figure out where to go, and I feel like it's probably running away, because it's not going to be easy, because the circle is going to be closing soon. It's not like he's going to be here into this area as well, so they're basically stuck in a corner. But like what we know already, this team can definitely try to squeeze out some sort of plan to just evade VD.
And it looks like the one and only Anshin is playing as the lookout boy, spotting the rest of these Vedi's esports players as the rest of his team members back away, or at least to my very little hopes, back away from this compound. I hope they're not going in for the flank. I hope they're not thinking of getting, a little creative here on the final 2 days, because the last thing they need at this very moment is to try something new, because they've tried this before. I kind of teased them. I kind of asked the more aggressive side of Black Angels. They tried to bring it out. Didn't turn out really well. and they've been focusing on the placement points, which have been doing them quite all right. Black Angel have bagged 2 Booyah so far. And I cannot say how crazy that is.
It's pretty impressive, and now it's really up to them how they're going to be able to try to evade this problem early on, and try to position themselves in a way that they can rank up higher and get more kills in a better way. So right now we're going to be looking at our previous winners into round number 1 in Bermuda. Eva Radicals just sitting pretty here in Bayfront, so they're pretty much just spread out. So it's a good thing that Fury is going to be away and try to give that information to his team that, okay, no one's going to be here, we can just try to loot everything that's in this compound. Taking a look at that, no one's going to be near them at all. Probably the nearest going to be the Vindicators, but no problems in there. That's going to be a really good spot for them as well. So not only are they going to be safe and get a lot of supply, they can also move in and let other people try to get rid of all of the players that are basically in the center. There's so many teams fighting for Refinery that sometimes some teams don't even want to stay there anymore.
Yeah, and this is the problem with Black Angel not doing their homework. But great movement evading that situation with Vete Esports. But they get into a position now where they've spotted who's next first. And I believe they took those first shots. My friends, Black Angels. Why? But never mind, right? They take those shots, they force the players from who's next to use a couple of blue walls. Yes, they do have the height advantage, but I don't know if that's going to serve them really well. Navi, he takes the bird's eye view, but I don't think there's anybody else up there to save him. Trot WYS potentially going to lose a player super early on.
It doesn't really help him too that the danger zone is going to be right on top of them. Not only that, Toby is right there, and it's just like the guy can't catch a break. And it's a good thing that he's probably at the outskirts of it, not going to get any help though, as he is just too far up. And that is the reason why you don't want to stay in a place where your teammates are going to have a hard time kind of reaching you and going in there for the pickup. And they definitely pay the price for that. AKO finally getting that kill. The first blood, Kanoho goes down, and they've been doing such a good job here so far. Refinery is definitely going to be that place that a lot of these teams want to get to because of how high it is, but it always pays a price if you stay there for too long.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a maze that Ego Oblivions have managed to find their way out of and avoid the shots from Govilam View.
That's impressive.
But now, out in the open, I don't know how this is going to fare them. Govilam View still stuck in that maze. Thank the Lord they do not have a GPS nor a compass on them. Ego Oblivions, they survive.
It looks like a Pac-Man, doesn't it? Like just Pac-Man going in there.
Yeah, they survive. They survive for the time being. And you know for a fact, Gogilam Views, they will be looking for those early engagements. They don't care, who steps up in front of them. But now, truly, out of the pen, into the fire, an AKO stands before the players of Ego Oblivions. But Black Angel, similar situation. Vete Esports, their next competitors in here. Now, you can avoid the, apex predators of the competition, but nothing says that the apex predators will not continue chasing you.
Just when you thought Black Angels got rid of Vete, they just find themselves, they're fated to see each other. But in a weird twist of fashion here, Vete's actually going to be backing away from the situation. Reading that they don't have enough cover, that's a really good sign of a really mature team, knowing when to go and engage. And this is basically like a see you later for Black Angels, and you get to see them live another day.
Gods of RNG, I told you. The Angels, they are blessed. And even if they didn't do their homework, it just reminds me of myself, right? When I don't do my homework, when I used to be in like primary, even secondary school, and I just used to pray, please, teacher, don't come to school today. And the teacher never arrives. That's exactly what Black
Kids, don't listen to Mustachios. Do your homework, please.
But make sure you say your prayers as well.
Yes. Hopefully your teacher gets gets late from work, and unfortunately nowadays it's online schooling. So anyway, we get to see a lot of these teams fight over for Refinery. This is going to be very difficult for the Vindicators if we see Ava Radical just pop up.
Eklog just catching off that final player, the tail end of the squad. Very smart decision making coming through from Eklog. Fura does not bother to stop in case his team member gets knocked down. He says, I know you can hold your own. He just continues running. Eklog tries to pressure him as well. Not gonna happen. And Obi from the back. Tanamo shut down Eva Radicals. This time there's a little bit of a payback.
Ooh, Eva Radicals doing such a good job at receiving all of that pressure. And now we get to see a really great play from AKO. We don't know if they're going to be able to respond very well just because they're pretty much on the high ground. So they will have every opportunity and also every advantage to see the sights. But it's a good thing they get to back off, not really wanting to go and have a gunfight. They know they will lose, but slowly they are going to be surrounded by a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly Tanamo was thinking in that situation, right? Because he took that zip line, he went straight up to the AKO players. Because just moments before that, from the exact same platform, their players were getting shot at. So I guess he wanted to get the jump on them, that backstab. But going in solo was clearly, a bad idea. Just smart play on the glue wall, but it doesn't matter. Barba's on the other end.
Ooh, Barba was able to see from that far away, and that's the reason why you don't give them just a little bit, even a pixel out of the way. They're going to be able to get that, and now if you're already in position, that's going to be very tricky, especially every angle is going to be covered right now by the Radical team, and that's going to be very difficult. As we can see here, the map slowly closing in. You see a lot of these players going into Refinery. They are going to be fighting for that spot. Vindicator as well really wants to have a piece of the pie, going into that really great position. But one team I'm actually looking at right now is still Black Angel. They're just sitting pretty right there. They don't want to move at all.
And someone took out Let's Go from Waytay Esports, and it looks like they will just be running a three-man run all the way in towards that final circle. If they get there, because Bloodyhead's just waiting by as well, trying to find a few extra points for themselves after struggling in that previous round. They had to play just for placements. Bloodyhead, if there's one thing that they know for sure, you must get your kills as well, right? And they've been a solid team. And, you know, you kind of mentioned it at the start of the show as well, something that Neptune and I have been talking so much about throughout the whole league stages. How much have they improved from past competitions, Beef? It's just so impressive to see how far they've come.
That's true. And really, it's every single one of these players doing their job and really just having that communication as a team. I'm good. It's actually really good that they didn't shuffle all of their members. They kept the same people. They just believed that, okay, we can work this out. Maybe it's not team chemistry that's working on. Maybe it's just more technical. And I believe that's going to be the case. And taking a look right now, Let's Go is going to be going down. So VD, they've been having a really rough start here. They've just been trying to go all over the place, trying to find that cover. But every time they get to see someone, they just back away. And it's really surprising.
And Ego Oblivions now facing off against Govilum Views. Govilum Views just bringing that fight on. Jacob trying to get away. Glue walls galore. But he's used up each and every single one of them. Has 7 nades in hand. He cannot waste it. Jacob now has got nowhere else to run. And with 7 grenades, he gets dropped down. He gets killed. All of those nades gonna get into the hands of Govilum Views. And you know it's gonna be trouble in that final zone. Ego Oblivions onto that vehicle. Twinkle's getting out of there. And yes, as bright as he shines in the night sky in this battle, it just seems a little bit too difficult.
Look, AJ, did you see his teammate block the window with the glue wall? He couldn't escape. He was trying to go out the window, but unfortunately, the comms weren't there, and it was really unfortunate that he couldn't just go away. But here we go. We get to see it. Black Angel's finally getting some action. Arf going to be getting some shots down. Kaisi's going to be the only person left, but just as I said, that goes down. That's going to be very difficult to see, but finally, New Gen doing such a good job.
Yeah, Arf, he does have the vehicle. Where did he go? Oh, yeah, that was not Arf. Arf from afar. 4 bits will be able to punish Reagan, and that glue wall's not going to be too much of an issue at all for his team members, but they need to play time quickly. Reagan right back up on his feet, and New Gen, they will be able to survive a little bit more, but look at this, man. McRory taking those shots against them as well. Now, this is going to get super tough when you have the Waytay Esports gatekeeping you.
Wow, this is like really good play from BT. They've been trying to find a position where they can get a lot of these kills. They're not being too passive or too aggressive with it. They're just basically putting themselves in a way that they need to win all of those gunfights. They always position themselves so well where if they know they're going to lose, they're just going to back away. Kind of like what happened a while ago against Black Angels, and now they have a new hunt, and it's going to be New Gen going right there. Not only that, Arfar's going to be also some prey to this really, really great Predators.
And you can see Waytay Esports most definitely aiming for that final zone play already. McRory just wasting his time. No time wasted at all. Making sure he goes out there for each and every single loot, finding all of those grenades. You know he wants to play Kobe in that final circle, leaving 4 bits all alone to manage New Gen. Mikey, one more shot in there. He does not get it, and he will be able to pick his friend right back up. But now both of these players sitting down inside of that watchtower with the one and only 4 bits gatekeeping them. Yes, there is one more player from the side of New Gen in the name of Quinder right in front, but he hasn't stepped out of his cover just yet. He hasn't been spotted. I don't know what's the play on this guy, but he does most definitely carry the LMG on him all the time. Spraying down 4 bits won't be a problem.
VD, they need some sort of backup right now. 4bits needs to find their teammates and really just go for New Gen, because for some reason they can't make up their mind. You got one person who's really going in there for the loot, which is good, but now they need to decide if they want to go and take out New Gen or push into the circle, because you only have just a few seconds left before it closes out, and at this point, it's gonna hurt.
Oh, look at the guy, man. I think he's going in there, running for the vehicle. Winda! Plays his time, waits for 4 bits to get overconfident, finally with the Punisher. And now, 4 bits might not make it through with this. McRory from afar just playing it, and now he gets that player onto the ground. Safe zone gonna be forcing them in as well. Winda doesn't have a choice, needs to play survival. Manages to get the kill onto 4 bits from earlier on, and he cannot pick his team member up. Needs to play survival as he gets in towards the next zone. Who's next? Spotting out Trot WYS. This is a gate gatekeep, and you do not want to be in Trot WS's position right now. You can't even run to the left with Eva Radicals there.
Exactly. Eva Radical is going to be very tough opponent to actually go and beat.
Oh,
but then Funky goes down as the grenade launcher is being used. That is a really good spot here. Who's next? Doing such a great job, but Funky does go down. Hawkeye already getting a lot of these shots, but yeah, Dope is going to be going in here, getting a lot of kills, but having 0 here so far, he just really wants to get one, but there's going to be one person left here at the other side of the glue wall. That's going to be very tricky. And there you go, he finally goes in, but no, he's actually enclosed himself. What a great spot, but as much as you want to have that protection, it takes just one grenade to get you out.
Yeah, absolutely. The angle's just not possible. But Barba, trying to take advantage of the situation, does have got... Oh my lord, Yano just steps out of there, shuts down Plocky. A little bit unfortunate for Plocky to play, but now they have to manage the situation. Thankfully, Barba takes his eyes off of them as Eva Radicals becomes aware that they need to play their positioning as well. But now, as they were trying to gatekeep the other teams, AKO will be able to do to them.
Oh, that's going to be very unfortunate. You can see here, VD is going to be going down one more. Wheels is going to be right behind them. So they just need to sit here, let the others do their job because they're going up against full squads right now. So everything's just a full-on war zone into this side of Refinery. So it's a good thing that we get to see AKO finally repositioning themselves. Bloodyhead is going to be in a little bit of a pickle just because they are at the down slope.
Yeah, Multi already knocked down, and it didn't look like that was something they were expecting. Bloodyhead! And he got picked up right back down thanks to My Son with a double nade coming through. And now, Ego gatekeeping the one and only Bloodyhead. Twinkle will not shine anymore as he gets backstabbed as he tried to focus on that final nade. My Son playing game of survival, pulls out the camouflage as well, but outside of the zone, the guy drops, gets himself taken down by the safe zone, and unfortunately, Bloodyheads will not be making it through as well because now you have AKO in front of them, but it looks like AKO will not be able to focus on Bloodyheads all the way through because Govilam views in this mix as well. What a crazy circle this is turning out to be, and Balore pumping out that grenade launcher will be able to get a knock, but Jaboima right back on his feet, and Balore says, hell no, get back down on the ground, and he just shuts them all down. Vindicator's taken out already. Views just surviving as Kanoho pops those nades right back through.
McRory's getting a lot of kills. He's actually just getting a lot of it. Kono nades himself. That is just so unfortunate. And his teammate Cher is not being able to go in there for the pickup. You can't make mistakes like that at this point of the competition, AJ.
GG, bro. That was unfortunate. That double bounce of the grenade just super unfortunate. I only have pity for you, my friend. Bloodyhead finally taken out as Morgana makes his exit. Fura, Gilla, Barba, Eva Radical still aiming for that #1 spot, and they are in a prime position to do that as Govilam Views makes their exit as well. And who else but Aguila to secure that kill? And like we talked about earlier on, Fura aiming for that MVP from that first and second match, and I think he will be able to do it to make sure Eva Radicals is most definitely the MVP team. Eva Aguila as well. This is just turning out to be a spot where McRory might be able to take advantage if AKO pulls off this backstab.
This is going to be very hard, Shares. In a very tricky spot as he's the one that's going to be going up against so many of the teams. But here we go. Liger is finally eliminated. And now, Eva Radicals, this is going to be so good. If we see McRory pull off whatever we know he can pull off, that guy's so impressive. Finally, you can see here, grenades finally going off. 1, 2. Goes in for the glue wall, but then it's going to be too difficult as one more new gen goes down, and this is so impressive to see.
Oh, Vete Esports shut down as well. The one and only Fura picking up the final kill as Eva Radicals back. 2 back-to-back booyahs at that #1 spot. And who else but Fura with the double MVP? He picked up. There's no way in hell this guy is not picking up the MVP title. The 5th MVP title potentially for Eva Radicals. Insanity as they make that decision to step back up, and when they make the decision, no one can stop them from executing it.
Eva Radicals, what did you have for dinner? Because I want some. 2 back-to-back and Fuhrer having the MVP. It's just like they're a different team from what we've seen. We know they're good, okay? We know they've been really good, but so far, and you know what, AJ? They probably heard the casters, right? Okay, you don't have enough booyah, so they only get this a lot of points because of their kills, and now they're doing both. They're getting kills, and they're also getting booyahs. That's just absolutely great.
Yeah, and I'm glad my theory on Eva Radicals kind of checks out in this department, right? Where they were not really going in for those placement points on purpose, just purely focusing in with the aggression. Because at one point in the competition, it just stopped making sense. It just stopped making sense because it's Battle Royale. Regardless of how good you are at the mechanics, you don't just go in there rushing team after team after team. But Eva Radicals were pulling exactly that off. And, they dropped from glory. They were in that number one spot, confidently sitting there, and they just got easily overtaken by the other teams. But very clearly, they were just trying to sharpen up their gunfights, their gun skills for the grand finals. But I think that one change in terms of perspective from Eva Radicals was the fact that they continued that strategy, but Vete Esports far exceeded them in terms of the number of kills they could bag, as well as placement points, proving that the strategy that Eva Radicals was bringing in here so far was really not the best. And if they bring it into the grand finals, they are gonna suffer, right? They make that change, they grab that back-to-back booyah, insane stuff out of these guys. That grand finals is just gonna be crazy, Beef.
I'm so looking forward to that because we're seeing different teams right now just bringing it on, and now if you are going to be BD Esports, that's going to be very tricky because in the past two games you basically lost a lot of your teams going into that final circle, whereas you see AKO you get to see Eva Radicals having a full stack into the final circle. So there's something that's going on here and something wrong that they've been doing into going into this day. So, props to McRory to being able to be just one person bagging that second spot and having a lot of kills too. But, it's still not something that you want to have because you had a really strong start day number 4, day number 5. But if you just lose your points, you're going to be losing your first place because the points in between them is just not that big anymore.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part here is McRory. Remember what we talked about? He was on the hunt for those grenades. He wanted to play that really badly for himself. But the one more thing that he was looking for is the grenade launch. My lord, that was the double bounce again, Kanoho. I think things like that kind of give you,
Kobe.
Things like that kind of makes you afraid of playing the grenades as aggressively in situations like that. And I don't know if it's going to be doing it right. But going back to what we were talking about, it was just a situation that McRory got a little unlucky in. He couldn't find the grenade launcher.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because he's so... that's the type of weapon that he really shines. But if he doesn't have that, he kind of, he struggles if he doesn't have the grenade launcher. And he needs to find a way to have that kind of advantage with whatever weapon that you have. So again, that's good for the other teams, the fact that McRory can have a lot of these kills. So one team that I really want to commend right now is New Gen. Like from zero, from the last spot, they're actually getting a lot of these points from 17th. Their rank is 17th, and in the past 2 games they've been doing such a good job.
Oh, absolutely right. They just really need to step it up, especially when it comes to all of the placement points that they're playing in here. Because once you have already truly discovered that the fight for kill points is not really something that you can manage within the competition because of the difference in mechanical capabilities, you've just got to play towards your strengths. And that's exactly what New Gen's kind of figured out for themselves. But even as they were taking on some of these gunfights, there's one huge difference that we notice here. New Gen's not getting into those situations without securing a great defensive position for them. If they're not in a great spot, they don't want to engage at all. And that decision making is really showing up for them on the leaderboard. And Vete Esports, we kind of saw exactly what happened to them earlier on, but it was great in terms of playing the placement points towards the very end. But the mistake by Forbits, the mistake of splitting up, getting aggressive, kind of played against them overall.
Yeah, and you get to see a different gameplay, and now you're kind of thinking, is Vite trying to go for a different play here? Because even from the first part of the game, the first half, they were pretty much reluctant to get into gunfights. They had Black Angel in the back of their pocket. Like, honestly, that could have been such big points for them, but still they didn't engage. Second time they were able to see Black Angel, still didn't engage. So it's like, okay, they're a little bit more reluctant here, and that's the reason why they lost so much men already going into that final circle.
Let's see if or not Eva Radicals will be able to continue on this trend, because from the team that had the least number of booyahs amongst the titans of the competition, Eva Radicals just took that particular stat, threw it out of the window. Now they're almost once again one of the apex predators, because look at those kill points, right? Just 1 point away from Vete Esports, and if they can continue this momentum, no doubt at all, we will see Eva Radicals jump right back up to the top. But can they secure those back-to-back booyahs once again? For now, they will have to rest, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because match number 3 comes through, where Group A will not be able to participate, but we will be able to see the players of Group C.
And I'm really excited to see that matchup, because so far we get to see a really hot start from Eva Radicals, and now it's all from the side of B and C to try to go and find a way to get a lot of these kill points. So I'm really excited to see finally Monkey Tribe try to go in from the 15th, because it's still pretty possible for them to actually go and break into that 9th spot, because we've seen it already from VT, we've seen it already from, you know, Eva Radicals. It just takes one day of back-to-back wins and really get a lot of kills to just make that big of a difference.
Yeah, overall on the board, you know, not too much of shuffles, but in terms of the team that we were looking out for, Equinox, they haven't really managed to get into the mix of things just yet. They've been looking by from the sidelines in Group C. Now's their opportunity to jump into the fray and bag some for themselves. We've talked a little bit about this as to how after the shuffles, the teams who have not really been able to rise up to the top have managed to find a couple of extra points for themselves. But on that point, right, Black Angel, they managed to find extra points for themselves even through the matchup against Group A. So that's really going to be giving them a lot of momentum. But of course, before we take our eyes off the overall standings, let's just take a quick run through. Vete Esports at the very top in the #1 spot, AKO Ligers second, Eva Radicals in the 3rd place, Govilam Views, Bloodyhead, as well as VPH Velocity in the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. Sorry, 7th spot with Who's Next, Equinox and Vindicators with the 8th and 9th position.
Oh, and taking a look at that, Ego Oblivion is just a little bit of points away going into that 9th spot. So I'm really excited for every single one of these players on the right side to try and break through into the left side, because that's where you want to be. But then, without, you know, honestly, we didn't even see this coming, or did we? I mean, you're just like performed. He was just an absolute beast and just trying to get rid of everyone. And not only that, he went in very aggressively, but it paid off really, really well.
This is the 5th MVP title for the team Eva Radicals. This is the first MVP title for the one and only Fura. And another very impressive stat, another impressive record here is no other teams within the Free Fire Challenges Philippines Season 1 has got 3 different players picking up the MVP. Eva Radicals does. Tanamo has got 3 MVPs, Barber has 1, and now Fura with 1 as well. Eva Radicals, the team to look out for, but they've played possum for so long now that we have just taken our attention away from them and focused it on all of the other players, which just shows me that this team, not only do you look out for them, but when you spot them out there on the battlefield, you have to turn and start running, because almost every single engagement seems to go the way they want it to be.
Oh yeah, and it really just showed even in the first game in Bermuda, where they were able to get rid of VT Esports and really just get rid of them really early on, but make them back away. And even though they were backed up, they didn't even have a lot of cover. They were still able to just go and defend themselves really well. And to have these back-to-back wins, that is going to be very scary for the other people that are going to try to go up against them, because it's a different team. And like the theory that you said, it is coming true. There's something that they were keeping in the first few days of the competition, and they're finally bringing in. VD Esports, I feel like they've already brought out a lot of their big guns, especially in that day 4 and 5 where they had triple back-to-backs. And now finally, they've kind of lost a lot of their ammo going into this last week.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you know, And I don't think that's going to hurt them in any way whatsoever. In fact, you never know if this is just a ploy by VTA Esports just to play to the ego of Eva Radicals a little bit more, right? Oh, yeah, you are better than us. Yeah, you can kill us. Yeah, we are nothing in the grand finals. And then boom, in your face, VTA Esports, 8 booyah so far in the competition. You know it's going to happen. And it's going to be crazy over there because in the league stages, you've got 8 different days. Each day, you've got 4 matches. But at the grand finals, it's just that one day from nothing to everything. 6 rounds decides everything. So, you really got to play your strategies really well and making sure your mechanical capabilities are enough in all of these gunfights are really important, which is what really impresses me with Eva Radicals. They've tested how good they are almost against every single other team in here because of how aggressive they've been from the start of the competition.
I mean, when it comes to Eva Radicals, we thought in the beginning that they're a little bit one-sided in terms of like getting a lot of kills, but not getting a lot of the wins and the booyahs and getting those placement points. But it's now they're showing how balanced they are as a team now, and even into the likes of VD Esports. Because even for AKO Ligers, and yes, they're going to be in that second spot, they actually have a little bit of a hard time getting a lot of these kills. They're pretty weak in Purgatory, so it's a good thing that they don't see it now. So that's why I thought going into this that AKO Ligers would actually get more kills today because they do so well in Kalahari. They do well in Bermuda as well. Their numbers are actually very impressive, but it's just Eva Radicals just performing so well today.
Yeah, AKO Ligers was a team that really struggled at the beginning parts of the competition, or were they just trying to go out there and look for that solid information to just play their best, right? Because players like Kanoho and all, truly gifted players mechanically overall, and they have just brought in so much of promise into the competition. I mean, AKO Ligers is overall, Kanoho himself has got 3 MVPs just to go up there and just equal up the record that Dynamo has with him, right, on the Eva Radicals. That's exactly how AKO is good in the mechanical department. So it was quite a surprise to see them struggle at the start. But look at where they sit right now, in that second spot with 5 of those booyahs. At one point, the record holders for the number of booyahs. So anything can happen, but it just seems today the Ligers, it's just a little subdued. Maybe someone tranquilized them.
And right now they're just sleeping very soundly, maybe just snoring just a little bit. We can hear it from here in the studio in our houses, but hopefully they go and wake up because we're finally heading into the 3rd game right now, Bermuda. And you can see here, very silent, very calm waters, but unfortunately for them, it's going to be absolute chaos right now. We can finally get to see all of these teams go into their respective houses where we know where they're going to be dropping, because out of all the games that we've seen here, hopefully they don't be, kind of like when the last few moments into the competition, into the first days going into that 6th day, it's going to be very difficult because you know where your opponents are going to be landing, and it's pretty predictable where let's say Wheels or Black Angel, where they're going to be dropping off. And now Black Angel's going into where Wheels would usually be. I mean, obviously Wheels is not going to be here anymore, but you're going to be seeing a lot of shots coming into VPH Velocity. Now that's going to be very difficult because Black Angel, they were so passive going into that last few matches, but for them to actually give shots to VPH Velocity, now that's going to be very surprising for me.
And Axis, a team that has been on an upward trajectory, taking on AV Crusaders, who have seen a couple of good rounds in here. But, mechanically, Axis is going to be a little bit better here. And the strategy that Axis has been pulling off, quite honestly, has come over the players of AV just so many times in here. And it's just way too early, way too easy of an elimination for Axis to secure. AV Crusaders will be the first team to bag out. And, the one team that I'm looking forward to seeing, just absolutely wreck it in this particular lobby, though, is still Black Angel. Because, once again, against Group A, they did all right. And against Group C, they should be able to do way better.
Oh, you're actually pretty right. Because, Group A, they're the Giants. Obviously, you get to have a lot of the teams in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th spot. And now you're going up against a team that's majority onto the right side as well. But it's not going to be easy because you have a team like Equinox and Axis try to go in there for the win. But Axis is actually a team that was pretty good into the beginning stages. They were actually going into that 8th spot, but Equinox just bumped them out and took that spot as well. So Axis is definitely going to be a team that would want that spot. They're at 11 right now. So that's not going to be very easy if you were Black Angel and try to get that spot.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Axis, they've seen great days, like you said, and they've also seen terrible days because from the 8th position, they dropped as low as what, the 13th, 14th place, and then they just slowly started making their way right back up. I believe last week is when they managed that climb from the 13th into 11th, and it has been good, but it hasn't been consistent out of them. But it is something that they most definitely will be able to play to the advantage because you've seen both sides of the coin, you've made these mistakes, and now, probably going to say that as he meets up with Zhao. Oh, what a time turner by Zhao. Oh, pulls out a time turner for himself as well. And now ring around the rosy. But Zhao just a little better as he has been playing it since he was a child. And says exactly that as he dies.
Why did you go out of that compound? You were so close. You could have just went up and had like a better position, but no, just left himself just a little bit too open. And now Zhao was able to use the time turner to perfection. And now finally having that one kill, that's a really good start so far. And that's what we like to see. So really good stuff here. Equinox, obviously a really great team that we really want to look at as well. But VPH Velocity, just going to be here in the clock tower. Just going to probably get a lot of the loot here so far. So VPH Velocity is another team that has been doing pretty good. Okay, they're at the 6th spot. They only have a few points to just overtake Bloody Head. So all eyes are on them.
Ooh, Bloody Head now in a perfect spot to gatekeep VPH, but I would highly advise against that. And I think, Black Angel, they have learned that the hard way multiple times now, as they will most definitely be focusing on all of those placement points. But getting out of this compound, VPH on the approach, and Monkey Tribe right in front of you. And Monkey Tribe's just the kind of team where they're not way better than Black Angels. They're almost around that same, level when it comes to strength out there on the battlefield. It will be a tough fight right in front of them, an equal good fight versus a super crazy predator from the back. So the Black Angels, the best thing they can do right now is start moving towards the center of the circle. Just find a little bit more of a safer spot for them. If possible, maybe even a vehicle.
Yeah, honestly, like you are absolutely right because if they wait just a little bit, staying in that compound, they're going to be sandwiched with two pretty capable teams, and that is the last spot that they want to be in. So going in and moving into the center of the circle is the best way to go. But now we're taking a look right now. Equinox, obviously a team that has been a really good game here so far, 8th spot that they have, and so far they're gonna probably try to gatekeep Bloody Head, which I don't know if it's going to be the best thing that they can do right now.
It's definitely not the best idea. There you go, vehicle on that play. Morgana finds the vehicle from afar. Guy's not going to be able to escape. It's just a little too far away from the rest of his team members. And this is just one of those plays that, I will never be able to understand, right? Why do you go ahead and split away from your team members so early on? And, just really put yourself in terrible situations because it's not that you do not anticipate getting knocked down. You have to anticipate that all the time. And the buddy system really puts you in a great spot. Even if that knock does come through, at least you have a little bit of backup.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Because, I mean, it does work for some situations where you just want to go and spread a little bit thin, but you don't even have any cover. He was literally at the side of the hill. He wasn't even on top of the hill. He was on the slope where he had nothing. And he just basically, you know what? This is a free luggage right now. Just please get this kill. But, speaking of a team that is swimming right now, absolutely just swimming, just keep swimming. Ego, what are you doing?
Just keep swimming, swimming,
Just
swimming.
keep swimming. What are we going to do? We're going to swim.
And oh my lord, there are a couple of players right there on the hill in front of them. Good luck, swimmers. Ego Oblivions potentially on the brink of finding out exactly why you don't take a dip in the open
Finding
seas.
Nemo?
Monkey Tribe,
You said
Equinox,
I'm
right in
just
front
waiting.
of them. Xenox. And it looks like Equinox is gonna bag out of this a little early because Xenox is just so far away. Oh my lord, Pat on the ground. Zao, what a snipe! And you see, buddy
That was a
system.
beautiful snipe. That was actually like a really good play there. But VPH Velocity is like gonna backstab them very bad. Vinata though needs to be a little bit careful, but he does have cover, so that's gonna be good for them. But then right above here, that's gonna be very difficult if they try to go in very aggressively. Monkey Tribe is gonna have a lot of these kills here so far.
It's great playing the Watchtower advantage, but you just have to understand it's easier to take that headshot against you, so they have to be careful as they go in there for the engagement. Vindicators, on the other hand, finds Nathan from the side of Axis. Gal, great shot right back, but it's just not a situation where he can find the kill instantaneously. Zyborg drops Glory, and Axis overall gets eliminated in that 10th spot. Zia will get picked right back up as they are sticking by the very edge of the zone. And it is not a spot that the Vindicators have to fear getting caught out and nobody else around them. Monkey Tribe still keeping an eye on Equinox. And like we were talking about, the buddy system that Equinox should have applied, being applied by Monkey Tribe. And they played it to perfection as well. Seika got knocked down. Weitlang was right. Sorry, Pan Pan got knocked down. Weitlang was right there to back him up. And Monkey Tribe's right back in it for the play. But the unfortunate situation is VPH wants to play as well.
Oh, this is going to be so difficult to actually go and see. I mean, Monkey Tribe is in a pretty good situation, but Weitlang goes down, needs to go in for the pickup, and finally, his teammate, it's a good thing, is pretty just close by. But then VPH Velocity is definitely going to be applying that pressure, and they definitely can, but they need to be very careful, as CNX can actually go and make a lot of passive-aggressive pushes here, but puts up the glue wall, sees another day. Now, that is going to be very impressive how he's actually holding up against two teams.
Yeah, the guy's got a glue wall right in front of a boulder there. Seika with a lot of pressure straight on. Two of those players from Equinox. Zhao just holding on to the bottom of his watchtower, making sure the players right up top cannot jump down. And if they jump down, there will be those few seconds of lag, which will allow Equinox to bag those kills. CNX just backing away, pulling a lot of this attention. But in the meantime, no advantage taken by the rest of those Equinox players. And as time continues ticking, VPH is going to be able to devise the perfect execution plan here and do exactly that. Execute all of these players and grab those kill points. So the Miracle and squad, they just need to play this a little bit safer. Strot WYS is trotting right into this fray as well. Things are about to get a little exciting.
Oh, yeah. And you can see here a lot of these teams still need to go in there for the push. Bloody Heads right now have no one, absolutely no one that will actually go and stop them. Ego, on the other hand, will have a really hard time because they have one more team. It's WYS that is trying to gatekeep them. Not only that, they have one more team that they actually have to go and... oh, wait. We see General go so far away. I'm not quite sure why he's so far.
I've just learned to not question these things. Just
Okay.
look, say it, acknowledge it, and just give up on them.
I'm just trying to see, like, is there a strategy? Is there a reason why? But
Yeah, it's like questioning the mysteries of life, you know, the mysteries of the universe sometimes. You just gotta... In order to have a peace of mind, sleep well at night, you just don't question these things, Beef. Just don't.
You're right, yeah. I mean, like, honestly, at this point, you know what? Just as long as you live, you can probably just, okay, it works. It works. If it works, it works. If it's not, you know, if it works out for them in the very end, I really want to see it happen. But so far, General is still pretty much on the good side right now. But it's a good thing that their timing is going to be really prime. One more Ego goes down. Flonky is also going to have a really hard time. He needs to wait for his teammates to go in there for the pickup.
Twinkle now, as bright as he always shines, he doesn't even need to step up. General makes it into the circle, and he won't be able to backstab. Is he going to be able to pull this off? General, the one and only, for the side of Drot WYS. But the rest of his team members are already dead. General, do something. Two players going up against him. No glue walls, just
Why
one
are you
in.
turning your back away?
Never mind. Don't question.
Don't question. I keep forgetting. Don't question. Okay, let's just like explain what happened there. Okay, General was too far away to give that backup, and that's why you shouldn't be far away from your teammates, because once they need the backup, once they need the pickup, you're not gonna be there. And he was just 5 seconds too late to just save his teammate, and that's the reason why you stick together. And it was just too. Unfortunate, because General could have actually had more kills there if he didn't turn his back away, knowing very well that there's a lot of guys right behind him.
Yeah, I like Trot WYS playing their disadvantage to the advantage. They got that information. General goes in there for the flank. He got there as quickly as he could because, like you said, right, guy was like miles away from the rest of his team members. But just no pressure being played, no shots coming through. The guy just sneaks into that situation. By the time he's a little late to that party, the rest of his team members are already engaging. I mean, the least that they could have done at that particular situation was to hold off until General is in a great position, because they've got so much of information to play. but they're just overplaying each and every single moment there without waiting for that backup, right? And if that was executed to perfection with the timing, you know Trot WYS would have been able to bag a lot out of that situation. And because they don't, now they will allow Monkey Tribe as well as Black Angel to catch up with them. Are they going to allow that position, and will Monkey Tribe and Black Angel take advantage? We still have to wait and see. The last time we had a spot onto Monkey Tribe, they weren't really in the best of spots.
Finally, we get to see Bloody Head have some sort of action, which they haven't basically had the whole game. And now, Vindicators trying to get some shots, but then Eklog not gonna give him a lot of these times to go in for the kill. Maute applying that pressure. So it's a good thing that he has that tower to go and defend him, but it's not gonna be easy because everyone else from his team is going to be right into that compound. He finally goes down in that slope, but then spots him. Not quite sure if he actually got a lot of those information, but it's a good thing that Bloody Head has the advantage of knowing that there's gonna be one team that they can go and take out.
Oh, and we were just talking about them. It looks like the Angels, gods are no longer on their side, at least not for this round. Maybe Monkey Tribe. Maybe it can be Monkey Tribe. Come on, monkeys. Don't let us down. I really wonder what happened to them. I mean, they were in a position where they were kind of, between VPH as well as another squad moments ago. They had the watchtower. They had the all of the bird's eye view, but just not really a great spot overall.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious as well as to what happened to them because the last time we saw them, they were sandwiched. And if we said that if they don't move, it's too late. So maybe that's the reason why they got taken out so early. They probably didn't move and maybe was a little bit too passive. But speaking of a team that has been staying put in the same spot, Equinox, just trying to get a lot of these kills. But we're getting our sights back here to the Vindicators versus Bloody Heads. Now, Bloody Heads is going to be in a very tricky spot because Vindicators, they're also in a pretty nice spot, knowing very well that they have a lot of the grenades already to their name.
Morgana just needs to nail those, waste 2 of those grenades. Not much of information being gathered from that as well. Raifu pumps one out, but here comes one right back. Raifu backs away, not wasting those blue walls. And Eklog taken down by Mark from afar. Bloody Head now going in there for the finisher. Time Turner pulled out as well. What a beautiful combo. Raifu as well as his team member. Eklog now down on the ground. VPH just beyond. Bloody Head, they will be able to finish off these players and then play the pressure against the players of VPH in a moment as well. But as I say that, the circle goes to VPH instead.
Oh, that is a really good play, but I just really want to commend Raifu because he did such an amazing job at just trying to get rid of every single one of those players of Vindicators, but also be mindful that VPH velocity is actually right below the hill. He put that glue wall and really just went in there for the defense, but you can see here, Monkey Drive, really good positioning.
Yeah, Mark gets knocked down. Seika in here with those shots all from afar. Pan as well as Wait Lang, both in the watchtower below. They have gotten taken out of the equation already. My son, looks like camouflages just don't work against Seika, but he pulls out a camouflage as well. It works and he plays it. He's got the high ground. Smart, because when you pull out the camouflage, you're just not gonna get any of that information away. All of the platform right below you kind of blocks those shots out. And now they make their way down as the players of Rev Aeolus drop by to say hello.
Oh yeah, now that's going to be a very good spot for them, finally getting away from that clock tower because they've just been there for too long. But here we go, Blake. 1-2, trying to get some shots in as well. But they're going to have a very hard time as Bloody Heads is going to apply that pressure to them. Not only that, one more team is going to be Equinox as well. But then, my son gets another kill as well. Monkey Tribe eliminated so fast.
Bloody Head really bagging the best out of that situation. Both Monkey Tribe as well as Equinox kind of gatekeeping each other for the long. My son just pulling out that camouflage in the nick of time, backing away from all of those shots. Going back to Monkey Tribe and Equinox, both of them played their timer a little bit too long, a little bit too late, and the rest of the teams just stepped up to the plate and got all of those kills.
Yeah, and you can see here, Bloody Head's actually going and spearheading into the hut, and VPH Velocity is actually in a little bit of a hard time because they're just stuck there. They can't get out, and Bloody Heads has all the momentum that they can have. They also have the circle to their name as well if they go in there early enough, but VPH Velocity taking advantage of Bloody Heads being a little bit preoccupied.
The question is, Bloody Head, how many of those players have grenades and how many grenades overall? Maute now taken out as well as Mark secures a kill from afar. Raifu trying to cut all of this distance between themselves as well as VPH. Ego Oblivion still alive and kicking in here to make sure not only can they secure that 12th spot, but run away now from continuously just lingering in that situation, Beef.
Oh, that's going to be so hard to actually go and do. Arky taking some shots already. Ritos needs to go in there for the backup as well. And speaking of
What a
Ritos,
circle.
he goes down, needs to go in there for the pickup. But that's just not enough. Pepper has triple kill, and it's going to be so hard. Eagle finally doing a lot of great deals. It was a really good job for them to go into the other side of the bridge instead of engaging into basically VPH versus Bloodyhead.
Yeah, Ego Oblivions. What a booyah secured here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. As VPH, Binata, he allows himself to get taken down by the zone. And the players of Ego Oblivion, they grab the booyah. I believe it's 11 kills overall, just to impress. And congratulations, Ego Oblivions. This marks their very first booyah of the competition.
Oh, I'm so proud of them for finally getting in here. And this is a lot of points. And these points can basically put them from the 12th spot and maybe even bring them up a notch. So, Ego Oblivions, good job. And you can look at the smile on these boys. Take a look at them in the glasses. I really want one for myself, AJ.
You know, they had a lot to play for in here. The odds were against them when whenever you go up against Group A, and we saw exactly how much Ego Oblivions kind of struggled there. And we talked about how these teams who struggle at the bottom will be able to pop off when it is a fight between Group B as well as Group C. But you need to maintain all of your pressure on the Apex Predators, which were VPH, who managed to get in there, but it was the circle overall. The gods of RNG just decided to give us the most awkward circle that we have seen in a while. Yes, we get a water circle. Teams could have gotten onto the bridge earlier on, but the entrance and the exit of that bridge earlier had already got off by the circle. So none of those teams thought that it would be a great idea to sit up on there, and therefore everybody had to swim. And VPH just decided, I'm not going to play that game.
Wait. Wasn't Ego the team that was swimming earlier on in the game? Or was it a different team? It was, oh my gosh.
They
just
practiced.
Said, just keep swimming. They manifested it. And you know what? So impressed. Imagine, it just took 1 second of just thinking, okay, we're going to be on the right side of the bridge instead. Bloody Heads, VPH Velocity, you do you. You're just going to go and have your gunfight. We're going to position ourselves here. We've been practicing. And it just paid off.
It's in a wild twist of events. They started off with a swim and they end things with a swim, and it was all for the greater good. They were the ones with the head start. They I guess got used to running around with wet clothes, and you know how weird and annoying that is. And you know the other players, they just weren't ready. Binata sure as hell wasn't ready for that. He was like, nope, I am not getting into the water. I will allow the zone to take me down. Thank you very much. AV Crusaders, on the other hand, they thought they could take the fight up against Axis. They found out really quickly that it was not going to be an easy one.
Oh yeah, I mean, because Axis is a team that just really wants to break through into that 9th spot. They were already there, but, you know, unfortunately for them, they were just a little bit inconsistent with their kills and with their placements, but really good stuff from Axis. And again, another team that has been struggling here so far is going to be Vindicators, because Bloody Heads was just a little bit too great into applying that pressure on them.
Yeah, brought WYS later on as they saw Ego Oblivions. It was a great performance by Ego to pick up the first 4 kills. And Bloody Heads, the engagement between them and VDR, I kind of felt like those nades could have been slightly more solid on the side of Morgana. Just a little too excited, I guess, in the early parts of that engagement. Waste 2 of those, but thankfully they managed to overcome that situation. But why I'm disappointed with the usage of those grenades is because they could have really bagged the advantage against VPH, because VPH was in a terrible position in that hut earlier on, and the nades would have really served them quite well. But you know, overall, things did of course break down in a way where Ego Oblivions were in the best position to pick up the booyah, but it was not a free giveaway for them, right? They earned this by bagging the most number of kills out there on the battlefield as well. 23 points just to impress everybody else. Bloody Head in that second spot with 17 points overall. Equinox doing really well. The team that we've been keeping our eyes on really making a name for themselves as they continue to catch up with the players, with the Vindicators, I have to say. And with the Vindicators getting that 5th spot right below VPH Velocity with that 8 and 9 points, they're not going to be too happy with the situation. Monkey Tribe, Reviolus, Axis, Black Angel, Trot, WYS, AV Crusaders wrapping up the standings of this round. Which team stood out the most to you, Beef?
I mean, honestly, I actually really like Monkey Tribe because they were at
Mm,
the clock tower for so
mm,
long and they
mm.
did a good job at gatekeeping a lot of teams. And I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like that's the reason why a lot of teams kind of have a hard time going into the
yeah,
circle. It's because of this one team that just
mm,
gate kept everyone because of the
yeah,
view that they had. It was basically just like a 360 view of everyone that's trying to go and push in. But
yeah.
unfortunately for them, they kind of get gate kept themselves as well because they stayed
Correct.
there a little bit too long. And for when the time they had to rotate into the circle, it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and I really believe the watchtowers were created to for you to go up there and get information and get away, not really camp up to find extra kills for yourself. Because you just put yourself in such a great predicament. But exactly how Monkey Tribe has shown us in perfect example in here today. Look at VPH Velocity. They were the ones who did not have the information, the bird's eye view like Monkey Tribe, but they got way better placements. In fact, they got all placements only, no kill points at all. Monkey Tribe just happened to have just been focusing on the wrong place. But overall, they do manage to bag out 8 from this particular round, which is not too bad for them in comparison to Black Angel, who only managed to get 3. And we know both of these teams were really close on the leaderboard the last time we checked in, and they're both aiming to get into that top 12. With Trot WYS backing out very early from this particular round, it just seems to be a much easier situation now. Monkey Tribe just needs to keep this up, but learn from their mistake in this round.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's really unfortunate to actually see that AV Crusaders are kind of having like a hard time in getting a lot of these placement points because they're at the second to the last spot. They're at the 16th spot. And we get to see New Gen turn things around. We saw a different team. And for AV Crusaders, they need to step it up because at that moment, their New Gen's basically going to overtake them by points.
Yeah. And the biggest question here is for both AV Crusaders as well as New Gen. What's the target? Is the target not to end the league stages in the last place, or is the target making it into the top 12 at the very least, having a day in the grand finals, right? Because it just seems like the idea is there to play the game of survival. But when they get into situations where they can just keep quiet, continue moving on to the next safe zone, they choose to get into some fights that quite honestly could have been avoided, Beef.
You're absolutely right. I mean, there could have been better plays, but then it's still improvement on their end, I guess. But, I feel like at this point, they're just probably playing for the money, try to have those extra few thousands in their pocket at this point, because it's so hard to just break through into that 12th spot because obviously with their points, it's like 60 plus points going up against 112. So that's literally a little bit more than half. And unless they pop off for some reason, then that's definitely gonna, you know what, at that point, I think I'm just gonna, shave my head if they break into the top 12, really.
Which
No, I'm
team
just kidding.
specifically? Which? Thank goodness you pulled that back.
You know what? I want to go with New Gen. Ooh.
It's a safer bet, isn't it, for you?
Yes, way safer. Thank you. But yeah,
No-
I mean, I'm
no
putting my
shade.
money on New Gen.
Yeah,
I really want New
no
Gen to
shade
perform.
being thrown, New Gen. Okay, it's just that this is a challenge from Beef Mommy for you guys to step it up. And if you really want to see her shave her beautiful hair with the beautiful fringe that she has and all of that purple stuff going on there,
I didn't say which part of my body I would shave, so.
let's not go. Never
My
mind.
arm
5
hair.
minutes. I need the break after that. TMI. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, quick short break. Round 4 coming right up.
It's time to shine. Gotta give 'em what you got. Gotta show 'em all you
Hello, my name is John Michael El Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is team captain. One fun fact about myself is I started playing games since I was young and even won a physical prize. Ang gaming setup ko ay simple lang. Phone ko, earphones, isang unan, pulbos, at isang boteng tubig. Nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire noong November 2017, pinakilala kasi ito sa akin ng aking kaibigan, and proud akong sabihin na isa ako sa mga beta player. The game is very fun and competitive, at kahit sobrang tagal ko na naglalaro ng Free Fire, bawat match o laro is still as exciting as the day noong nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire. Ang best moment ko ay nung ginamit ko ang grenade launcher to do a squad wipe in FFPO Grand Finals Game 2, and it gave my team a momentum to get a booyah in that round. Isa sa pangarap ko ang maging professional esports player. Madami ako nasalihan at naipanalong tournament, kaya nang sumikap ako kasanabot kay pagiging pro player. Isa pang dahilan ay kumikita ako ng pera habang ginagawa ko yung hilig ko. After matapos ng MCP Season 1, umalis yung dalawa kong player, at dahil invited ang team ko sa MCP Season 2, naganap ako ng 2 player para ma-meet yung requirement. Nirecommend ng kaibigan ko yung dalawang player na kakilala niya na may experience sa tournament, kaya agad ko sila ni-recruit upang mabuo ang SAP Gatwish na ang tawag ngayon ay BT Esports. Yung time na sa sobrang 74 beats, nampas niya ng unan sa mukha si Damon nung nagawa namin maging top 3 sa Group A play-ins ng Free Fire Asia Championship. Want to know how I play? Catch me on Free Fire Challengers Philippines. Tara, Free Fire!
Yeah, Wiz right now is in there going in, taking down
Oh,
Crusaders,
wow.
but no, Sao has been taken down. AKO right now is in prime position.
Blake's not going to be too happy about that, but there's nothing he can do. Mark shuts down Fire before he can get away, and those snipes. The backup might just come through. They go in for the pickup, but what a play! Axis gets taken out of the equation as well. Revejonas gets into the fight against Equinox. Equinox shutting them down one after the other. Axe will get caught as well, and it looks like the players of BT Esports with McRory. Stop that. Tokyo now back on the ground. McRory from afar. Grenade launcher not in play just yet. McRory, the Kobe of BT Esports, finally pulls out that nade. Is he going to be able to hit it? Yes, he hits it! In here, Blocky takes those shots against Newgen. Newgen! Newgen! They will be able to bag a lot, but Newgen themselves gets eliminated by Trot WYS. And now Eva Radicals making their way in here to the final zone. Golden Views, Whisket as well taken out. A double nade being sent by Tanamo as well as Rabiel! But Trot WYS finishes them as well with those nades, Neptune. JC Jacob, he just has got machine in front of him, pulls out the camouflage, and the plan goes for the pickup right now. And they will have 2 players on their side, but not a lot of cover.
Oh, and there goes the hit.
Okay,
Eagle will be flying out and will be hit. Will be able to run away, AJ, but how long?
Welcome back. Here we are again. Day number 7 going in here. Free Fire Challengers Philippines Season 1. And you know what? We've seen Eva Radicals really just pump getting those 2 wins. But let's see what happens next for the other teams that still have to go and play and get all of those booyahs. It's your girl Beef Mommy, and with me today is the most talented and amazing caster that I've ever worked with, Mustachio AJ.
Thank you for the love, Beef. It has been an absolute crazy start of the day as Eva Radical stepped things right back up. But of course, the plays of the one and only Ego Oblivions showing us that they are ready for the final days as well. But of course, all of this action is brought none other by Infinix Mobile, the official sponsor of the Free Fire Philippines Open. Fire up your game with Infinix's best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S.
You know, the Infinix Note 11S, it's a powerful smartphone with the Helio G69 Ultra gaming processor. So fire up your game and get this now for only 9,900 pesos. You know what? I'm actually really excited and I want to see how this phone performs because, you know, with all of the games that we've been seeing here so far, I really want to play Free Fire in this little phone. So when I get home, best believe I'm going to get my hands on it.
120 hertz at such a low price point, it just makes content creation, it just makes, you know, players who want to get into the pro scene, the benchmark, the price point for it drop way down low, and you know, it's just available to so many of the players out there. It's really a great partner to have on board for the Free Fire Challenges Philippines. Even as, you know, the video from McRory as we take our breaks, you guys can see he's got a super humble setup. Look at how he bags it out there on the battlefield, right? You don't really need a lot. You can start somewhere, and Infinix just making it so much easier for the players out there.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, speaking of the players already and basically going into the last week before we head into the finals, right? This is the moment where they need to step it up. We've seen a great amount of these teams, individual players, stepping it up. We got Fewer absolutely just killing it.
Yep.
We got a team, we got Equinox just really applying that pressure into whoever wants to get their spot. And now we go into a map that a lot of these teams kind of have a hard time on, which is Kalahari, because of how well you can hide in those corners. And it was such an amazing thing we saw a while ago into our first map of Kalahari, where even though you had high ground, it doesn't mean that you'd actually get that advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right? Because if there's one thing that Garena Free Fire does really well, is finding the balance in games. And as you know, in most first-person shooter games, it's always easier to look down than it is to look up. In Free Fire, it's a little more complicated than that. The mechanics just, you know, turns things around. In order to balance the game out, those players who are on the high ground really need to watch their heads. They need to keep, you know, on that crouch at all points of time, and they need to see the elevation on whether or not the hit is sticking out, because securing the headshots from the players who are on the lower ground is just so much more easier. So the bird's eye view comes with a great prize. AV Crusaders finding the players of Vindicators, and the Vindicators, yeah, they will punish you.
And yeah, Vindicator's doing a really good job and finally getting that kill leader role. But that's going to be very difficult to go in, and especially with AB, they're just having a really hard time in this competition here so far. Slowly but surely, 2 players already going down for the side of AB, and it's really just Vindicators getting a lot of free kills right now. And this is so hard to see because of how well we know AB could actually go and perform, but unfortunately for them, VDR is a little bit too good.
Yeah, and Vindicators, they will not skip on an opportunity finding kills off of the team that has most definitely been struggling in the competition mechanically. A very easy pickup by Cyborg, and Unknown right back on his feet. Chai manages to grab a kill. AV Crusaders, what a advantage they have taken for themselves in here. Can they secure another? Can they punish the Vindicators for getting super aggressive from the get-go? It is all in the hands of AV Crusaders right now. And on top of that, what do they have to lose?
Okay, AV Crusaders, that was really surprising because you thought that they weren't going to have a really good spot, but then they're just applying that pressure. They're not going to be allowed to be bullied like that and to just go away without a fight. So right now, they're doing such a great job, but then Chai going to be hunted down by Zio. But you know, with Chai, it's going to be very difficult because there's one more person going in there, going to that entire turret, but then Zio goes down, and you can see Mimak actually going in there for the kill as well. Unknown gets one though, but then just like that, VDR getting that triple kill. Zio still needs to go in for the pickup, and it's a good thing for them. The rest of his teammates are just right there.
That was a great play by AV Crusaders. Now, Trot WYS, hearing all of those gunshots, want to take advantage by being the third party. Just a little bit too late to the party, though, because the Vindicators have got so much of cover in here. And once they are ready to take this fight, Trot WYS better start running, right? But going back to the players of AB Crusaders, Chai had a great play there because his opponent pulled out the time turner, and after the recent update, the time turner's mechanics has just most definitely changed, right? You used to be able to shoot from inside of it, and after the update, you cannot shoot from inside, you cannot get shot from outside as well, so you really have to step out of the time turner. His opponent, Zio, pulls out time turner. He knows he won't get damaged. The moment Zio steps out, he jumps into the time turner because he's already so low on HP, spots the window beside him, gets into the house. There's a little bit of backup from his team member as well. Great plays overall, but mechanically, AV Crusaders were not ready. And quite frankly, they haven't been ready throughout the whole competition to take a fight against a team like the Vindicators, and they just got punished a little bit too early once again.
I mean, it's like great IQ plays like that you really get to see how good a team is and, you know, the potential that they have. So hopefully, you know, even though they're not high into the leaderboards, like they're here for a reason. And it's really just moments like those where he actually used the time turner against the person who was actually using it. So that's going to be very impressive to see. And now we finally get to see everything dwindling down. And, you know, we get to see AV going out very early on into the game as well. It's just unfortunate to see that we get to, you know, every time that they try to go in there for the kill, it just blows up on their face. But you know what? It's still very nice to see here. So slowly but surely, all these teams going into that circle, and take a look at that WS. It's Trot going in there and trying to go into a split positioning here.
Let's see what they can pull off here. They are pulling off the buddy system in a very, very lackadaisical manner because Shanks is just out there on his own right now. No buddy. Blocky probably going to go plonk on the ground if someone catches him out in the open. But I've got my eyes on Black Angel. This is the final match. Yeah, this is the final match for them. And I just really want to see them step it up, right? Match number 4 will be the final one for all of the players from Group B. And like we talked about earlier on as well, this is the opportunity going up against Group C to really pick some great points up for themselves and break into that 12th position. And tomorrow's the last day for them to maintain. If you don't start making your move now, it's really going to be too late to make any sort of a comeback tomorrow, Beef.
Yeah, and they really need to step it up right now. I feel like this is probably the most important spot that they need to get a lot of these points, because if they wait till tomorrow, it might be just a little bit too late. So they need to get every single points. So speaking of points that they need to take, Equinox, on the other hand, is sitting pretty well into the middle of the pack. But if they falter, if they give up these last 2 games that they will probably have, then it's going to be very difficult, because you have teams like the Vindicators and Rev that will try to go and take your spot. But a team that will probably, you know, try to break that is probably going to be Bloodyhead. They've been doing such a good job lately, but they just can't get a break and get a booyah here so far.
Yeah, and you know, it just seems like they have found a good opponents in front of him. And Morgana just got a little bit too brave moments ago, but immediately stepped back, playing the positioning really well. Nathan's face down. Oh, goes in there for the kill as well. Before that save could have come in there for Siyasi, and Black Angel really regretting allowing one of their team members to back away a little too far. And now this is Axis taking the fight up against Black Angel. Mechanically, Axis is a little bit better, but it's nothing that Black Angels cannot fight back from. But they are now pushed right back into a tiny little corner here. So those nades going to do a lot of damage.
I mean, there's a reason why Axis is pushing so aggressively, and you can see that it's really paying off, because especially from that win going from Oblivion, then there you go, Lore goes down, but it's a good thing that his teammate's gonna be right beside him, but no, still doesn't get the kill. And we can see Black Angel finally giving up a fight, but it's gonna be a little bit too late. Nathan will definitely get one more kill, tries to spot a lot more players, and just like that, Black Angel eliminated. And this is what we were saying, is that Axis, they have fire up their butt, because Eagle Oblivions, they did so well in that last game, got booyahs, and got a lot of kill points, that at this point, Axis is probably already in that 12th spot, which is a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, a steady rundown of Rebeliolas now by the players of Bloodyhead. Rebeliolas breaking apart, running all over the place just to make sure they can play a game of survival here later on for themselves. As Benny gets taken down, it is not the end of the road just yet for Rev Aeolus. Mark bagging 3 kills overall at the start of this round, as Bloodyhead look to secure a great spot for themselves by the end of day number 7. But you know, the teams like New Gen, AB Crusaders, Black Angels, and such, they can look up to Bloodyhead as inspiration, right? A team that has most definitely struggled in the past. Look at how they shine now. And you know, when you want to improve with your mechanical capabilities, it's not you make a wish today and it comes true tomorrow, right? Hours and hours, months, years have to be invested into the game first to become truly one of the best.
Oh yeah, definitely. And a lot of these players, they have school, they have work, and for them to actually just have more time to grind and to play and to see their work finally pay off is definitely going to be very good to see here. And we see it for Bloody Heads, we see it for Wills, we see it from Eva Radicals, where we've seen them grow in the past year, and it's just so nice to see it now, where they've just been such a mature team here so far.
And everybody's like, Eva Radicals, can you please stop growing right now, because it's getting a little tough. and you know they're raring. Yeah, you know they're raring to go once again, right? And I cannot wait for match number 5 to drop on in here. But Monkey Tribe, they will scrim off against the players of VPH Velocity. Now just behind this angle here, Janelle trying to find one with the double vectors in hand. Has got 3 of those glue walls to play, but no nades whatsoever. The players of Monkey Tribe now closing the distance. Seika, what a jump up to the top, but he manages to make that jump just moments before getting knocked down onto the ground. Pan will be able to pick him up, but Ritu's now playing the height advantage, goes in for the spray, and with the shotgun, it's way too easy from that height.
Oh, that was such a beautiful play from VPH Velocity, and even though Monkey Tribe had the advantage of getting into that roof, they just couldn't use it too well, and VPH for the aggression just really paid off for them. They have one more person to go in there to eliminate, and it's all just the grappling hooks that just paved the way for them.
Wait Lang not waiting to see what happens if he manages to waste a few more seconds in there as he tries to run away. His vehicle ablaze. Janelle going in there for the finisher. Should be able to wrap around, and before he can get there, it will be the one and only Phaeton with that long shot. Yes, Janelle is regretting that he has not found a kill for himself at the moment. Janelle's gonna just tell him to calm down. No problems at all, bro. I even had mine stolen away from Phaeton. So it's all good. It's all fair right now in Love and War as the players try to fight with each other for those kills. But as we see them get more excited for all of these battles, you know that final circle is gonna get crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen into our northern part of the map. You can see Vindicators and Axis are probably going to be fighting here in Bayfront. And you know that Vindicators really are kind of close into skill level when it comes to Axis. Because Axis, they were already into that 8th spot, but then they lost in the past few days. And now they really just want to bring it up a notch. And now definitely, it's going to be very difficult if Vindicators are going to probably gatekeep them. But I don't know why Axis is moving away from the circle.
I mean, I
Here we go with the questions again.
Yeah, I think they managed to spot a team right in front of them, and they don't want to take that early engagement. But the long rotation in, though, it might be a great decision if they have a vehicle on them. But if they don't, it might be just a GG as they try to make it on foot. Long rotations do come with a price. Equinox trying to look for that one final player that they can shut down, as they are quite comfortable in the next safe zone. They don't really have to move away. And we've seen this team kind of struggle sometimes at the very early stages of the competition. But now as they find their momentum, they look quite unstoppable.
Wow, take a look at that. Sorry, just applying that pressure. Just one more person. Revioli. It's going to be very unfortunate for them if we get to see it. Oh, finally, there you go. Zhao puts the final bullet in and finally getting rid of just one more player. And that's going to be one kill for them. That's good. That's a really good start. And they usually have a slow start into the early part of the game. And so we really are curious if what they're finally going to do. And knowing very well that they are spread out pretty well here, but I'm seeing like one person. I think it's going to be Xenox at the very top of the tower, because we've seen it before already. When one person goes down there, you basically can't get healed by your teammates.
Yeah, you've got that bird's eye view, which you have to play. I mean, getting the height advantage in the game, getting the bird's eye view for that information is amazing. It's excellent, but you need to know exactly when to back away and exactly when information is more than enough, and you really have to just play for those placement points. Make sure you get towards the next safe zone with, a full squad, right? Because just being outnumbered in those final moments just really doesn't do your team a lot of good, regardless of how much of information you manage to collect in the starting of that matchup. Command Post is going to see the winners of the previous match, Ego Oblivions, as well as VPH. this does not seem to be a great spot. And VPH sending out the drone towards Ego as well. GG, information on the side of VPH.
Look at Axis. That long rotation paid off. This is what they needed. Okay, we're not gonna try to go for that aggressive push because they know there's one team. It's going to be Vindicators.
Yeah.
So they went in there for the long flank, and it's just the RNG gods is in their favor as well as VPH velocity as well. But you can see here, Ego doing a good job as well. They're just sitting here very passively, getting a lot of loot. Now that's going to be very good into the last few moments of the game if they make it there.
And that's one of the highlights of Team Axis, right? Decision making coming through for the squad, great. It's just that the mechanical skills they have to work on. In terms of the strategy that they've been able to show us, execute on the battlefield, they know Free Fire, they know Battle Royales, they know how to play Game of Survival. I really love it, right? Just spotting players from afar and not wanting to take those early engagements, just really focusing on their winning strategy of playing placement points, which are a little bit more guaranteed in a way as you get in safe zone after safe zone versus going in there for an engagement, with a team of 5, you especially on Kalahari. Things change in those battles so quickly once your opponents start moving around on the map. Because 5 meters away, you've got the low ground. 5 meters right in front, you are now on high ground. Things just change like that in Kalahari.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with the grappling hook where you can just go and put yourself up, kind of like what we saw a while ago. And you can see here, Myson taking a lot of those shots, finally takes down one, but it's a good thing that, Equinox is going to be in that buddy system that like we keep talking about, so you always have that support. But Xenox going in there, unfortunately for him, Myson spots him and just finally gets rid of him. And there you go, in shambles. Equinox tries to go and run away with just one man, tries to win it all.
That was the part where Xenox was getting sprayed on, was that was the signal. Move, go.
Yeah.
The guy already sacrificed himself for you. The best that you can do is make the most out of it, right? But, beyond all of that, they're still pressured by the safe zone now. They make it in towards the next area where Ego Oblivions are right there. Ego Oblivions, they have got the height advantage. They spot out Sorry. A quick nade makes quick work of him. My son now trying to get across this wall, just using all of those crates to their advantage. Just perfection. Zao! What a grenade launcher attack. Twinkle taken down. My son on the ground. Zao with a lot of pressure now. And this is why, Ego Oblivions, you do not underestimate your opponents.
Oh, that was such a beautiful triple kill by Zhao, and it's all up to Jacob to try to make a difference. But with the whole team of Equinox right behind you, that's going to be very difficult to go and put. But it's a good thing for them. They're preoccupied. They just want to stay put, and they're basically happy with what they made from that certain situation where they could have gone down very easily.
Oh, yeah.
But now Bloody Heads going into the territory right now of VPH Velocity. But it's going to be very interesting how they go and play this.
Morgana has got the information diffusal right in front. Equinox under a lot of trouble right now, a lot of pressure as well. As Bloody Head, they already have the next safe zone, and Equinox needs to make their way towards them in order to have a safe zone play, if you get what I mean. Because, just beyond this wall, you leave yourself out in the open for Trot WYS to take pot shots against you. That's something Equinox cannot go in and play, but they have no other choice. Jacob, what a beautiful glue wall pulled out as Morgana does not get the nade on spot. Cryfu from afar with a lot of pressure as well. Axis from behind. Jacob in a lot of trouble. But the guy still survives. And this is what I didn't like about Bloody Head earlier on. They wasted too many of those grenades looking for one kill. And in that final battle, they had almost nothing.
Jacob, you need to get away from there. I know you're probably going to use all of your first aid kits to
Oh
just
my
go in
God.
there, but you just try to go away. But also, Bloody Head's getting a lot of the shots as well. Morgana tries to find one more way out, but it's a good thing that WYS, now the Trots, they're basically trying to find a lot of free kills right now, trying to go in there for a vulture kill. But right beside them is going to be Vindicators, really hot and spicy. 3 of them left here, but it's going to be very difficult for Shanks at a really nice viewpoint, but no, gets down. Unknown, really good shots.
Yeah, and it was just Shanks just playing it a little bit too riskily, right? He had the eye on 3 players, and he had to just play a game of guessing. Any one of those 3 players stand up and shoot at him, he's going to get taken down. He doesn't get his calculation right in his head. He should have played a little bit more on the cover. Unfortunate for him now, as he needs to have one of his team members members back away from their own compound for the save. It's going to be putting the team in a lot of predicament. Blocky with a great nade out. Malte from the back. He will be able to get that shotgun into action. Morgana down on the ground, and it looks like Bloody Head about to get eliminated, unfortunately, here. And as I say that, Ritu takes that final shot, VPH. What a shot. And now Phaethon down on the ground. Jacob from the front. And it's Ego Oblivions this time bagging the 5th spot as they make their exit. And the Apex Predators of this particular matchup between B and C. VPH Velocity finally showing their true colors.
Oh, that was just so unfortunate to see Bloody Head just going down one by one. And there's the only reason why is because they took too much time trying to take down Jacobs that they didn't even try to go in there for the push going to the circle. And now we finally get to see VPH Velocity, Vindicators, Equinox, and it's going to be very hard because the circle is just so open. And at this point, VPH at a very great start. And finally, Vindicators eliminated already.
Oh my, Reduce, what a shot from afar, and now pulls out the shotgun. Is he going to be able to play this? Information from front and back. Trot WYS, they have got the numbers to go up against him, but VPH Velocity gets shut down by Procky and his grenade launcher. And Trot WYS secures yet another booyah for themselves.
Oh, that was so beautiful from this team because they went in there pretty late in the party and they just basically, you know what, we're going to take advantage of this really quick.
Yeah.
And we got Navi, we got Pluck, we got Shanks, Monkey, and General finally getting a booyah. And this team deserves it because so far they're at the 13th spot.
Yeah.
They're basically knocking at the doors right now of Axis and Ego. They're
Yeah.
just like, you know what, we want in. We are basically game on right now. So that's why I'm so happy to see this win. And honestly, the plot thickens.
I don't know if it was enough because we have to remember Ego Oblivions, they managed to grab the booyah earlier on with a lot of kills on their side, and on top of that, they also made it in towards that final circle this time around as well, and they took the 5th spot. So placement points wise, they did quite all right to keep their pace away, to keep themselves away from danger in terms of Trot WYS stepping up. But you know, the teams, the underdogs from the very bottom of the board this time really making a shot for the top. But it's more of the fight for that number 12 spot that's a little bit more harder here, B.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm so excited to see all of these teams really just stepping it up because this is when you see the team try to get, I don't want to say, I guess it's more of like that fire. They're becoming a little bit more desperate in terms of like getting those points, and we want to see that from them. We want to see that drive that they otherwise didn't have in the first few weeks because, okay, when you do have that mindset, okay, I have one more day to go. We have like 2 more days, 1 more week to get more points. But this is the truth that's finally looking at them in the eyes where, oh, we only have this day and tomorrow left to try to qualify for the finals in February 6th. And now we finally get to see these teams really step it up, and that's why I love seeing it right now.
Absolutely right. And the shuffle of those groups right after week number 2 was that blessing that all of these teams who are at the bottom of the board really, really needed. This was their prayer that they have been begging for all this while. Give us a break from some of these crazy guys who are continuously just going out there on the hunt. You get stuck in a lobby with Eva Radicals or Vete Esports on one of their great days, and you know you're going to suffer. AKO Ligers, Go Willem Views, even if they're not on the hunt, coming across them, and in a battle royale, you really cannot control that sometimes. You just GG yourself, right? So Group B going up against Group C, the best possible, opportunity for you to pick up points. But teams like AV Crusaders, it really just seems like the problem that I had with my childhood of not doing my homework seems to be what they're suffering with here.
Yeah, I mean, you've had weeks and days of just trying to go in there for, studying your other, the opponents that you're going to be going up against. Because a lot of the times, they actually just do a lot of the same plays. But you know what? I'm just really impressed with the teams that were struggling to the beginning and really just doing their homework, which I think is going to be Equinox, definitely going to be Axis as well.
Correct.
That have been doing such an amazing job. And obviously PXG, Eva Radicals just try to go in there and show everyone how dominant they can be. And I just want to say, Bloody Heads here in this particular matchup, they've been always in the middle of the pack. And I think in that last few moments of the game, they were just a little bit too fixated into trying to get one person, which eventually led to their downfall.
And once again, the exact complaint, oh my lord, Pepper got eliminated by that little airdrop, poor little man. That was a GG right there. But anyway, going back to the players of Bloody Head, I was disappointed, right? Disappointed to see that they were chugging out so many of those grenades at that one player, and they wasted so much of time outside of the zone. By the time they wanted to make a play for their positioning, they got taken out way too easily, and they just didn't learn from their previous experience.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wanted to count how many grenades they actually launched at him. I'm pretty sure it was more than 5, and they couldn't bring him down. And you know what's ironic? They went down earlier than he did. So again, that's just like a show where you need to try to see which kind of fight that you want to take. But you know what? Take a look at the round standing right now for match number 4. VPH Velocity having more points than Trotwy WYS, the winners of that round.
Yeah, and that's not surprising at all because of how much of a apex predator we expected VPH Velocity to be, but because of, they themselves not being able to deliver consistency round after round, we just didn't really bet on it 100%, right? So it's good to see them finally just take a little bit of dominance right back in here, because you need them to build that momentum up. You need that momentum because the easy rounds are over now. Group B is not going to be playing. Right after this, Group B is going to be replaced with Group A, and things are going to get harder. So building that momentum up, really important, and it was well done by VPH Velocity, outdoing the Booyah Trot WYS picked up for themselves. But talking about that consistency that we always like to bring up, Equinox getting it done this time round as well with the 12 points, climbing up the leaderboard. I mean, it's not like they are doing absolutely terrible, but they have done just enough to make sure they have a great standing later on against Group A as well. Ego Oblivions, not too shabby, 11 points this time round. Gonna make sure they keep up with the team of Trot WYS. Vindicators with the 11 points as well, making sure nobody else can catch up to them. And in the 6th spot, Bloody Head with the 10 points, Beef.
Actually, you know what? I want to touch up on Equinox really quick because they've been doing such a good job today. And I feel like that's the reason why we were talking about it a while ago, where it depends on the map choices if they are actually doing well. And I think this is like probably one of the best case scenarios for Equinox. They do well in Kalahari and in Bermuda. But unfortunately for them, tomorrow, you're gonna see Purgatory in the horizon, and they don't do really well here. And I want to back it up with numbers, right? Placement average for them is 5.8 to 6.8, so that's really good numbers for Equinox. And for kills, they actually have an average of 4 kills for both Bermuda and Kalahari. On the other hand, Purgatory, they only have 2. So they need to find a way, knowing that they are weak in Purgatory, to find a way and just have a different play there, because it's not working out for them so far. And at this point in the matchup, they shouldn't be comfortable enough. Okay, we're probably going to be doing great here in day number 7 because we're good at Kalahari and Bermuda. But for tomorrow in Purgatory, that's probably the most essential play that they can do here in this competition.
Absolutely right. And as you step on in and you bag all of these points for yourself, regardless of map, that homework part really important to go back into the previous matches just to see exactly what went wrong, so those adjustments can be made. And if it was in terms of those positioning, in terms of the rotations, for a fact you can do much better. The map doesn't change. The decisions that you make, the players that you come across, and how you handle those engagements truly decides how things break down. But overall, for game number 1 and 2, once again on the recap, you saw Eva Radicals popping off. Now we get to see them jump back into round number 5 and 6 to see if or not they can deliver the exact same. Round 3, it was Ego Oblivions stepping things up to make sure the 12th spot is not only secured, but not a threat for them where they have to continuously worry about position. But round 4 saw their enemies, who are in the 13th spot, Trot WYS, step it right back up. But Ego Oblivions, they didn't fall too far away, so I'm really curious as to how the final standings shows the 12th spot, Beef.
Oh, and here we go. Overall standing here so far. Well, obviously, like VD Esports is still going to be up top, but it might change once we get to see A and C really just battle it out. But take a look at that. Eva Radicals overtakes Govelum Wills into that 3rd spot. And just slowly, because of those 2 wins and the kills that they had, now that is going to be very impressive. But I want to take a look at what happened here on the right side. So there's a lot of stories here because, Trot WYS, Reviolus, Axis, and Ego Oblivions, now they are not safe because you want to be part of that 12th spot here, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, right. And you want the 12th spot, but can you make it? Because as hungry as you are, all of the other teams are as well. I mean, down to the 15th position, Monkey Tribe, it's as equal for them as it is for Rev Aeolus, who are sitting on the 12th spot. And as you can see, the points between Rev Aeolus as well as Axis, not too much at all. So they're all fighting for the exact same thing, and they're all quite mechanically equal out there in the battlefield. The thing that it is all going to boil down to from here on end in the final 2 days is all that strategy. What sort of strategy you bring out. And obviously for Group B, it doesn't matter right now because they don't get to play anymore. So Ego Oblivions, they just have to wait and watch how things continue to break down in the competition, whether or not teams like Axis, teams like Rev Aeolus, as well as, you know, the others step it up. Because Rev Aeolus as well as Axis, they're in Group C. They still have opportunities to bring a lot of pressure in here and overtake them.
Absolutely. And Monkey Tribe has a chance as well to even get into that 12th spot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
everyone from, let's say, 11th to 15th can still shuffle. And that's why it's so important to see who's going to win it here into the last few matches that we have. Because Group C finally making a reappearance here. They basically had an easier time into going against Group B. But this is the real fight that they need to go and overcome. Because Group A, they are no joke. Most of the teams in Group A are into that top 6 category. So it's really up to Black Angel, Monkey Tribe and Rev Aeolus to try to go and step it up just a little bit.
Yeah, hats off to Equinox, by the way. Our eyes were on them, and they've climbed from that 9th into the 7th spot. But of course, the MVP has to be handed over to this guy from the side of Ego Oblivions. 2 back-to-back rounds now. They have shown us consistency, but overall for the day, Ego Oblivions knows that they have a lot more in here to go and fix. But my son stepping things up with 7 kills, 7 assists. That's where he shows that he's an absolute cracked player, right? Being involved in 14 of these engagements with a total of 3,748 on the damage with a hit rate of 41.8%, Beef.
Now, I want to see a lot of plays coming from Ego Oblivions because so far they've been popping off today, and I'm so happy to see the MVP just really shine through because those numbers, they are not a joke. 7 kills and 7 assists. 7 assists? Now that is just like a playmaker right there for your team. Not only is he thinking about kills for himself, but he's also assisting his teammates to get all of those kills. And there's no, honestly, no surprise that they've had like booyahs already.
Absolutely. And, you know, going back to Equinox a little bit, they have shown up and they have, you know, just proven themselves as we kept our eyes on them to see them continue rising up. And they did amazing against Group B. Can they now maintain that consistency and continuously climb up the leaderboard against Group A, where all of the titans truly thrive, right? And if they want to be able to pull something like this off, I truly hope Equinox will play possum throughout the whole competition in this final 2 rounds and get into that final circle first. Because coming across any one of these teams in Group A, for the exception of New Gen, sorry New Gen, it's most definitely a GG out there on the battlefield.
New Gen went up a notch though. I mean, AV Crusaders went down, and New Gen finally was able to pick things up just a little bit. But they did go up against Group B a while ago, and now they're going up against Group C. Maybe that's a little bit more, you know, a leeway for them to pick up points because Group B against Group C, I feel like Group B was just a little bit more edgy. So I feel like it's time for New Gen to take advantage of this, especially knowing that AV Crusaders is there. Maybe they can finally win that fight and to say we're not going to be at the bottom of the pack, okay?
Yeah, let's see if they can actually pull that off, right? AV Crusaders, on the other hand, they will not be having any of it. They're just 11 points behind New Gen. And you know for a fact that they are going to be fighting tooth and nail for what they truly deserve. Let's see if they can bag it out. That's the fight for the 16th and 17th spot, unfortunately. AKO, as usual, going to be dropping right at the peak. Comfortable, but very, very close to comfort here. Out of his comfort spot, I have to say. Ember Lore, a little too close to Toby.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like where you want to position yourselves.
Oh,
It was just a little bit more unpredictable actually with like where they drop all the time. So that's going to be kind of good. But here we go, Axis. Nathan getting some shots. finally gets one, gets two, there you go. And that's why Nathan is just so formidable. And just like that, AP Crusaders also going down as well. A really bloody fight here. This is very aggressive from the really beginning start.
Why does this seem like deja vu to me? Why does it seem like this fight between the exact same teams at the exact same spot has happened before? Why? And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we did see AV Crusaders go down, Axis kind of bagging the best of the situation. Mima trying to run away with the vehicle, but he's not going to get lucky. Bad Child sprays him down. But you know, they have to be a little wary of the situation. They're making way too much of noise. And Go will abuse. They love noise early game. They're coming in here to see if or not they can pay some dividends with a few bullets.
And yes, that was a really great start here so far. And Wales looks like they want to go in third party the house down as well, wanting the kills. And you can see that they're primed in position to try to go and take over one more. We see one team finally going down very early. Axis really wants to break through and not have to worry about their position here, but Wales is definitely going to make a change.
Sneaking from the back. Wiz pulling out the camouflage just to maneuver around the battlefield. It gets very slow, but gets super sneaky as well. And now Govin Abuse just surrounding the players of Axis, just getting that flank on. And it's just so beautiful to watch. Laurie from afar will not be able to avoid sneaks fully. Embalori knocks down Bad Child first, distracting a couple of their players to go in there for that pickup. Embalori over aggressive. Laurie on the ground. And that's the second one. Make Nathan the third. Gal, the final player left on his feet for the side of Axis. How much longer can he stand? Time turner pulled out by Wiz as well. Gal trying to fight back. It's a 2-on-1. Sneaks into his time turner. He does manage to get knocked down, but it will be the game of numbers on the side of Govin Abuse. The third party, they were a little bit late to it, but they proved that their mechanical capabilities more than enough to bag Axis out.
Wales, one of the most mechanically gifted teams here, and every single one of them. I mean, like we said before, if you guys have just gone here, if you were new to the scene, Embalor has been a really great team, probably one of the best players. But unfortunately for him, in the first season of Free Fire, he was just basically carrying his team. And finally, after the roster change, his teammates are on the same level, if not better than him, and that's a good thing. And with his guidance, we really want to see them going take the crown. But finally, we get to see Monkeys try to climb into the tree right now, gathering that information, trying not to be a little bit too noisy.
Yeah, the last time the Monkeys were up on a great high ground, we saw exactly how terrible that worked out for them. But this time, they stay low to the ground. They want to get this information. They don't want to get over aggressive. And this information is played well, and they understand they are in a position where they can take a fight, but they don't want to take that fight because they want to play those placement points, which are so important. And against Group A, you never know who you're going to come across. And thank goodness they didn't do anything, because look at who's here for the party as well. A great third party by Eva Radicals would have been possible, but because Monkey Tribe do not over-aggress, they leave Rebeliolas for the taking. And Eva Radicals, they'll eat them right up.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. And Monkey Tribe was very smart to just not engage. And now it's all Riviolis. It's really going to be hard for them because they're just stuck here. Especially for Wanthor, that's going to be stuck here in this particular container if he does, not spot Thanamo right there. But it's a good thing he knows he's right up there. But how far can he actually go? Tano was actually in a very weird spot. He should probably not be there because it just takes one person from the ground to just take you out.
Yeah, but one thing about Thanamo is as well, is the thing that we keep telling players to look out for, the head glitch that you can get from that lower angle. Thanamo plays that to perfection, continuously moving around in circles, back and away. He knows his positioning, plays the time turner up there as well. So continues to get that bird's eye view, continues to get information, plays it back down to the rest of his team members. And it's so easy for players like Barba and Thanamo to go in here for the hunt. And now both of them coming in there for the flank. They know 1-2 is in position. Information will slightly drop off here. And we jump over to who's next, who find the players of Views. Or should I say Views find who's next. Funky just barricading all around himself with those glue walls. 3 now pulled out, but Embalor is still finding a way in a tight spot. The guy makes it work really easy, gets this kill, and will be able to move on later on as well. But who does not pull out the glue wall in the nick of time, as who's next? Hawkeye from across takes that shot and kills him as well. A lot of damage being sustained by Govin Abuse.
Oh, that was just like a fight that they just couldn't really have a lot of points in. I mean, yes, they were able to get one, but in for what use? Just one more. Wiz is the only person left that can actually go and help Sneaks, and this is going to be very hard because who's next is just right around the corner. Wiz can only just run away from this situation, and they pay the price from being a little bit too aggressive in a situation where they know they might lose. So that's the price you pay for being a little bit too open, and I feel like for Embalor, he probably should have left him there, going in for the pickup, probably bait him, but he just wanted to go and finish the job already quickly, and in return, he just paid the price.
And I just don't see how a player of his experience could make a mistake like that, right? And unfortunately, he underestimates his opponents, as it looks like AKO are getting stuck in a situation similar to that. New Gen now coming in for the attack. Reagan finally finishes off Jaboiwa, and AKO now gonna struggle against New Gen, but Konoho taking things into his own hands. In fact, a grenade, and knocks down two players. Smiley as well as Reagan now down on the ground. Henda will be able to finish off a player from the side of AKO, and AKO, they sustain a lot of damage as they go in and force this fight against New Gen. Winder knows that it all is lost, and he now plays for survival.
Oh, that was a really good play, and with the motorcycle in hand, probably going in for the placement points. So that was a really good play from Eugen because they've been struggling here so far. And yes, that's probably like the best case scenario that we could have come, especially when we saw the same thing happen into Wheels. So AKO though, it's a good thing. I feel like it was kind of worth it to have them, and now they have a duo. So now they need to step back just a little bit because 2 men down, that's gonna be very hard for you. But like what we've seen so far in the past few games, that you don't need a lot of people. You just need to change your gameplay to get a lot of those points.
Oh yeah. And AKO, they know they from here on end, they just need to play placements for themselves. And you know, if you play Possum long enough, you never know what the gods of RNG might just give you. You just survive there with a duo. Sometimes 2 players are more than enough out there in the battlefield. If you're left with a solo, okay, chances of securing the booyah pretty low. But if you just keep your head down long enough, and if chances just turn into a situation where you have to take a 2 versus 3, that's still not a situation that's not manageable by players as skilled as AKO. So it's a situation that I guess they can recover from. But Monkey Tribe shooting over, just jumping over the players of Reviolus. But in fact, as I say that, they jump right into a situation where they flank Benny from Reviolus. And this is going to be the first kill that they secure for themselves.
Oh, that's going to be very impressive. Really good start from Monkey Tribe here so far, but a little bit slick. They actually haven't gotten rid of Benny just yet, but you know, with him in the hill, that's not going to be a very easy way to go and hide. But Pan needs to go in there. They just need to push as a team because they have the numbers advantage, but obviously we're finally going in there for the push. Miracle finally sets up the smoke, sets up the trap, and finally get to see one. Finally gets the kill. Nope, still no. It's still Benny trying to run away. For some reason, is still alive, and there you go. Finally goes down, and his teammates are actually still alive. So I'm pretty sure that Ravioli is still trying to go in there for a distraction.
There can be miracles, but not in Free Fire, no.
You just gotta believe.
Beta Esports. Can they believe that they'll be able to shut down Eva Radicals this time around? This is a rematch from the previous rounds that we saw Eva Radicals just mow down Beta Esports. McRory still alive though. Let's Go has been shut out of this situation. Eva Radicals, they have the numbers advantage here with a vehicle on their side as well. Aguila just repositions himself to the back of that warehouse. They don't want to lose the mobility around the map because we know how Eva Radicals loves to play the game of information, getting those vehicles out there, scouting out area after area before they send the rest of the finisher squad in for that action. AKO with their duo might just be the perfect third party in this situation. Beta Esports in a lot of trouble.
Oh, this is gonna be very interesting as VD is actually gonna move away from the gunfight. Now that's gonna be very smart. They know very well that okay, every time we try to go and push Eva, it's not gonna work out for us. But still, we're gonna be close enough for them to think that we've finally pushed away. Especially with AKO being right there, they're still gonna try to go in there for the fight. So Führer goes down. That's a really good shot from Corbett, and there you go.
Führer just with the timely save with the glue walls, making sure his team members not taken down. And this is exactly why you have to respect the strategy that Eva Radicals plays. Now, even when they take some of these aggressive maneuvers out there and you see some of their players kind of die out, the response from the rest of those teammates to get in there, to pull up the glue walls, to make sure their team member does not get shut down way too early, it's just super impressive to watch. But from EVA Radicals, the attention is switched over now to AKO, and those shots are fired. Kanoho from afar. Daemoon coming in there for the finisher. Cheers down on the ground. Kanoho can't do much, and glue wall pulled up as well. Daemoon not going in for the finisher just yet. Will step away from this situation to bait Kanoho out. Kanoho, he does have the grenade launcher in his hands, so Daemoon now needs to play this really safe. The rest of the players from VJ, as a fact, needs to play this really safe.
Oh, that was a really good shot from Daemoon, and he just waited. Didn't really over push, but here you go, Konoho, going to be in a little bit of a pickle. Only a couple of HP left, and there you go. Liger's eliminated from this competition, number 10. And here we go. EVA, gonna have another fight here. VPH Velocity is definitely going to be a contender that can definitely bring them down.
Raythan, shotgun, straight to the chest of Barba. Played that time turner initially quite well, but unfortunately steps around the glue wall, didn't have that game of information, and gets back down. Thanamo and Fura down on the ground as well. VPH Velocity, they ramped up all of that momentum from the previous matchup just for this moment. And now Aguila is holding the back lines, but no backup whatsoever can be played as the game of numbers is just too unsurmountable. One player gets knocked down, but VPH focuses on the pickup instead of going in for the finisher. But EVA Radicals, as they try to find that kill, get shut down, and Faithan right back up on his feet. VPH Velocity aiming for that booyah and looking at the field, looking at how all of those Titans have been shut down one after the other. Next one on the list, Vayday Esports. If they can get them out as well, booyah is secured, B.
Oh, that is such a great turn of events here. And it just seems like Group A and Group C. Group C is the kryptonite right now of all these teams that have been doing so well a while ago. And now the top dog, EVA, going down. EVA Radicals doing such a good job a while ago, but early into the competition now is just taken out. But it's all up to Equinox, I think. I know so far they've been a little bit passive with their approach. So hopefully by the late game, they finally get to have their footing again, because knowing this team, they don't really do much into the first half of the game. Usually where they shine is going into the late game and really just being gatekeepers to try to get all these teams that don't really expect them to be there. But Wiz is all alone here, and we've seen it already from McRory and from Cryfu that you can actually go in for the placement points. So hopefully does position themselves well just to get those points.
Vayday Esports, are they shooting at the players of Equinox? I believe they were just moments ago firing off against VPH, and now they turn their attention towards Equinox. This is not a situation which is great. VPH Velocity in front of their crosshairs. Reduce down on the ground. Forbits manages the shot from afar. VPH, as we try to put them in the best spot to pick up the booyah. What was said was if they can take down Vayday Esports. I guess the answer is nope, that will be a little too difficult. Yes, the vantage point on them, great with the time turner, but Jonel does not have much. And before he could get 1 inch in front of him, use the terrain to his advantage. Vayday Esports, they knock him down. Final one now, Binada, Diffusal gets knocked, and McRory will not get taken out of the equation because of the response from the rest of his teammates and the glue wall. But the damage has already been done by Vayday Esports.
Oh, there you go. And finally, we get to see Reviola's eliminated, but at the same time, Equinox is actually doing such a good job at applying that pressure, not only to Vayday Esports, but also to VPH Velocity. But then, they have to worry about everyone else that's trying to go into the circle already. That's going to be Wheels. I'm pretty sure that one person from Wheels will probably surprise us later on, but everyone else who's next might actually be that one team that can make a difference, because right now, it's all VT versus VPH Velocity, and if Equinox plays it right, they can probably third party and get rid of both of these teams.
It's rare to see McRory getting in towards the final few circles with so little nades on him. But, you know, quite a number of players out there for him to find those kills on. And Binata, you never know exactly how many he has in his pocket. So if they can secure this kill, McRory most definitely will be going in there for the loot, which will put him in a very, very dangerous position. So Vete Esports, they just need to be ready for McRory to step out of spot in this situation. Equinox from the middle, they've maintained consistency in those past 2 matches, but not really bagging the booyah for themselves. Let's see if they can secure this, because they've got great numbers out there in the battlefield. And as you know, in the Battle Royales, great numbers mean great opportunities.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you can see the opportunities that most of these teams have, because you can see full squads still coming in from the side of Equinox, and finally applying pressure to everyone else that's trying to go into the circle. And that's going to be very unfortunate for them. And it's basically going to be who's next and versus Equinox versus Wheels if they do get to find that one person. But here we go. Zhao Xenox gets one, gets finally a lot of these kills, gatekeeping everyone that tries to go in there, but also Monkey Tribe tries to go in there for the mix as well. And it's all VD versus VPH Velocity ever since a while ago. And finally, who's next gets eliminated. We already knew that Equinox actually already gate kept them early on, but finally, you can see the circle here. VD actually still has a shot here.
Yeah, Equinox just getting super aggressive as the zone gets smaller and smaller. I love this about them. They're not just playing possum. They're not just playing for placement points here. They want to be able to balance that out with some of those skills. But Xenox unfortunately overstepped his boundary as they were looking for those skills. He gets shut down. But overall, it's still all right. But Forbits now punishing from afar. Vete Esports showing that they will be able to strike multiple teams at the same time as they hit Seika, the final player of Monkey Tribe. He goes right back to the lobby. Vete Esports, the first squad in towards the next safe zone, and now they are gatekeeping Equinox.
Oh, and here we go. It's Vete versus Equinox right now. It's all up to one more team to try and stop Vete, and Equinox might just be that. But then, we are going to be at a 2v3 situation here, which is not going to be favorable, but it all takes just one grenade to try to get rid of multi-kills right now. But it's all up to one team. VPH Velocity from 1, New G is going to be 1 as well, and also for Will. So it's all just a 1 apiece here into the final circles.
Yep, Views shut them down, and now Vete Esports still with 3 players left in here. New Gen's going to be easy to shut down. Gobilum Views unfortunately taken out by a Vete Esports player. VPH bags out, and thankfully the safe zone is the one that picks up that kill, so Vete Esports don't get to go crazy in here. McRory looking for the final one. Winda! What a turnaround! McRory on the ground, and Daymoon finishes things off as Vete Esports secures their ninth booyah of the league stages.
And finally, they have awakened from their slumber. And a while ago, we thought, okay, maybe they lost their flair, but no, they were just sleeping. They just gave a chance to others to finally get a booyah. And yes, their 9th booyah, the most out of everyone. And honestly, I'm not even surprised right now with how well they've been performing, especially with McRory not even doing well in the first half, having 0 into that final circles.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter because you know that his teammates will carry him.
And it's a situation of not playing at your best, but still being able to secure the top spot. As McRory, as the captain of the squad, you know he's going to be really, really proud of his buddies, because you need to be able to depend on them even on days that you're not really hitting hard. You cannot be the solo carry for your squad. You are going to be struggling. And I'm not looking at Govilum views when I say that, because, you know, Embalore, he is quite the heavy carry, and the guy unfortunately falls a little early in some of these battles, and it puts his team in quite the predicament.
And it's not just him that was in a little bit of a predicament, because it just snowballed from there. Him going down that early means that they had to reposition themselves to try to save him, but it's just a little bit too late. They were already in a tricky spot. If Empalore just was already good with his opponent being down, he just wanted him out eliminated and just kill him. But if he went out, he could have positioned himself well and basically let the thing do itself, where they just lose their life. But it's really just small moments like that key moments where you need to think, okay, I can just leave him alone. I'll just try to position myself in a better light. So this is a really important game, I think, because VD just affirmed to everyone they're still in the game. So I'm pretty sure with the downfall of Wheels, with the downfall of Eva Radicals, that is gonna be very amazing for our last matchup of the day.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I highlight Embalore because it's not the first time that this situation has kind of broken down when Gokulam views are concerned and Embalore is there. I mean, there's the reason why they at one point were the record holders with the most number of Booyahs, because they were so impressive with the executions out there, and those executions could have come out perfectly without the aggression that Embalore brings into some of these rounds. But at the same time, they have suffered quite a lot as well, especially when taking this fight up against the other predators of the competition, looking for that number one spot. And if you cannot secure it during the group stages, during the league stages, then it will be some sort of an indication for the grand finals. So hopefully this is where they kind of have to find that patch for their mishap of a play, right? Because if it's happened one too many times, there's no saying, there's no promises it won't happen at the grand finals, and you cannot risk a play like that at the grand finals, Beef.
Oh, that is absolutely right. And I think another team that I just want to say that almost could have bagged the win is Equinox. They were at a prime position.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were a complete team. They only had to worry about two teams. It was VPH Velocity and also VD. And with VD, they were basically kind of preoccupied going up against VPH Velocity. But for Equinox, they tried to gatekeep everyone. They put their attention to Sparse, and that eventually led to their downfall. They didn't position themselves well enough where VD was just paying attention to just one team, and that basically made them win because they didn't have to worry about everyone else. They had a really good spot behind that rock that they were at. And for Equinox, they were so open because they knew that everyone was going to come in. They really wanted to get those kills, but unfortunately for them at the very end, it didn't really pay off. But yes, it is definitely way better than their performance. But, it just like small moments like that where they could have had a really good win there.
Yeah, just worried that some of these mistakes, as they continue creeping up, if they do show up at the grand finals, there's just no excuses at that point, because during the league stages you can say, the league stage is not all about one day of performance or one match of performance. It's an accumulation of how you do, how you rise and fall. But at the grand finals, you just have 6 rounds. You either do it or you don't do it. And with what VPH Velocity found out earlier on against Eva Radicals taking a mechanical fight, it's not going to be tough at all as long as it is a close range combat. With the distance engagement as what they have proven against VJ Esports, VPH struggles. And this is one more thing that they really want to be patching up before getting into the final day. And we are running out of time.
Yeah, definitely. And all of these teams, you only have one game today and one more whole day tomorrow where you need to go and pick up all of the points. And it just all boils down into one kill. We've seen it already. One kill makes a difference. But here, speaking of a team that really just wants to show everyone that they are dominant, VD Esports getting that one more booyah, making it into a lovely 9. But are they going to make it 10 today? We'll see. Because I think their biggest competition at the moment is definitely still, I think, Eva Radicals. I think that was such a weird play for them, but you know what, we're going into Kalahari, which is going to be a very great map for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, some Malaysians say a little too soon. And that's exactly what Eva Radicals had to face here. A little too soon of returning right back into the lobby as they came across a team which they should have been able to take down, but VPH Velocity just playing all of their positions absolutely solid in that moment. And Eva Radicals, they bagged the loss. And that's just something that happens in battle royales, especially when you are going up against teams that are no chump squads in their own accord, right? VPH Velocity, they fought and they've really earned their 6th spot. They just really have not been able to find the momentum though when it comes to those engagements. So in this fight against Eva Radicals, and bagging the win in that particular engagement will most definitely give them a momentum boost, a boost in confidence for that final round, which they're desperately gonna need as they try to overshoot Bloody Head.
Ooh, there's one team that, we kept saying that might creep up, and it's New Gen. Take a look at that, 11 points. That's going to be very impressive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you barely get to see it because the action is just so jam-packed that you don't get to see who's going to be in the middle of the pack. And all of these points are pretty crucial for New Gen to try and creep up. And yes, I know they are going to be at that 16th spot, but it's still pretty impressive because every time that they play, they just keep moving up and up and up. for the fact that if they keep doing this, if they're up on a really good trajectory, then they might actually reach the 12. So keep your eyes on Monkey Tribe and New Gen right now, because they're going to be creeping out of everyone and just surprise everyone.
Yeah, hopefully they show us a little bit more of some of that beautiful tricks that they have sneaking into the final zone, right? As they try to play the placement points for themselves, even after getting into engagements with teams like AKO. It just shows their resiliency out there on the battlefield, as well as the decision making that comes through. I mean, it's quite the tough act to try to avoid engagements as you try to survive towards that final zone. It's not easy at all, people.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're basically going up against giants, but it's still pretty impressive that they were still able to get to that point. It's because giants meet other giants, and all of the people who are kind of, the teams are kind of struggling. They're like, you know what, you do you. We'll let you guys kill off one another, and then after that, we're just gonna jump you guys. So again, pretty impressive strategy, because it's not showing that you're weak or anything. You're just taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this time around, Axis, with all of their rotations in, all of the placements that they try to kind of bag for themselves, they were unfortunate. Only with the 4 initial kills that they took over AV Crusaders kind of blesses them with points this time around. And that's something that they need to think about as well. How can they maintain their consistency? Because it's not about securing the top 12 for Axis. They've shown us, they've proven to us that they can get in there. But it's more of how are they going to get ready for that grand finals. But even as I say that, I kind of realize that Reveolis and Trot WYS, they've really done good for themselves, haven't they? They've really caught up with Axis after that 4th match and just putting a few points there. But once again, it's Reveolis and Trot WYS being in Group B that plays against them. They've not really, sorry, not Reveolis, Trot WYS, they won't really be able to catch up anymore because of their matches. So they really need to play it from a hard point from the get-go tomorrow on our very last day.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's these teams that we really need to look out for. But, taking a look right now into our next matchup, the final match, Kalahari. And as predicted, you get to see VD right by Stone Ridge. You already know that's their favorite spot. They go there every single time. And so if you were a team and you know that, that team is going to be there, you get away there as soon as possible. And if you're a team that wants to go and challenge that, go ahead, be my guest. But we're finally going to be seeing a very early engagement here. It's going to be AV. And, this team definitely has been struggling. AV Crusaders, definitely a team that is going to be in the bottom, but definitely a really bright spot for them when it comes to engagement somehow. But they are going up against Reveolis, which has been a team that has been performing so well, like what you said, AJ. So I feel like this is the time where AV needs to go and step it up and show to everyone that they can really do well.
Yeah, and with AV here stuck in front of Reveolis, not able to walk around, pick up any utilities for themselves, continue looting, whilst Reveolis will be able to just move around. They know the spots of AV. Look at Benisu just holding onto the high ground, making sure that he can catch the flank that comes through from the rest of those players, just giving the opportunity for the rest of his team members to continue looting. Chai pulling the long flank. I don't know if this is an intentional aggressive move or the guy's just trying to find more loots for himself.
Chai is in a little bit of a pickle as Benny just applies that pressure. And like what you said, it was pretty a really good point, because you get to see Rev just go in there, get a lot of the loot that they really wanted to get. And you see here, AV's just having a really hard time because they don't have a really good package of what just happened. They didn't have as much good loot, but Chai does the job, brings down one, but then he goes down as well. Morris, on the other hand, also goes down, needs to go in for the pickup. It's all up to Mimak and Meow to go in there for the kill, but this is what you pay for. The fact that these teams and these try to go in there for the kill without having any supply, this, I mean, it's the truth. If you don't have really good weapons, you're not gonna win this. But at the same time, Rev, on the other hand, even though they have the upper hand, still loses a lot of men somehow. So this is crazy. Blake getting shots as well. It's all up to him, but then being low on HP is definitely going to be difficult. It's a 3v2 situation, as Wonton is definitely going to be taken down very early unless Blake really wants to help him out, but no. It just turned around so quickly, as fast as that, but then with Wills trying to go in again for the third party.
Again, right? The uncanny coincidence with all of how things break down, but this time thankfully, AB Crusaders have not been fully taken down. But I don't know how big of a blessing that is because they are left behind as Govilum Views just storm the front. So hopefully they can stay hidden whilst AB Govilum Views kind of just run down the rest of the players who are getting out there of the compound. Because from what we know out of the maze, it's just an open area. So Govilum Views, they should be able to hit it if those players are not going in there sneaking around. Reagan down on the ground, not a problem because it is a buddy system being played by the side of Nugent.
Here we go. Finally, the pickup comes through, and Yadope still has eyes and can definitely take down another player. Who's next? Really doing a good job at applying that pressure, and finally, they just can't catch a break right now, but it's a good thing they finally have those goo walls, and they are able to get out and out of harm's way. So who's next? After taking those shots, good play to go and reposition yourselves, knowing very well there's one more team, and they really want to go and take down that team because that's the points that they need. Because after the really bad game in the beginning, that is the points that they really need to get.
Yep. And of course, as they try to hunt for all of those points beyond the border of the next safe zone, it will be Equinox sandwiched between Axis and Eva Radicals. And this is the true test of Eva Radicals. Will they bag 8 kill points from this situation before they get into the very first save zone of the game? Let's just see. It's of course a lot to ask, but the fight starts off between Axis and Equinox. Eva Radicals, they hear those gunshots from afar. Axis, they have got, oh my lord, the high ground, the bird's eye view, but Diffusal has got the aim.
Oh, here we go. Xenox goes down, but needs to go in there for the pickup.
Oh, what?
It's a good thing that his teammates are just right beside him. And right now, we're taking a look at PXG. I mean, so I keep saying PXG. I mean, it's so crazy how Eva Radicals just goes in there a little bit quiet because you know that Equinox is gonna be a little bit preoccupied right now, taking a look at the skies, knowing very well there's one team there, but taking a look at there, Rambali Violas goes down as New Gen finally gets that. And this is what they deserve because so far, Reva Violas has been really good, but finally getting shut down.
And now Eva Radicals coming in here to pick up all of those aggressive kills as they usually do, shutting down the plays of Diffusal, catching him in a tight corner, and then the nade was just perfect. Zhao from across, a double nade being sent through just to calm all of these players of Eva Radicals down. Xenox gets out of the situation. Sorry gets knocked out. Xenox now on the ground, but Zhao finally manages to get the nade onto Barba, but no finisher at all as Zhao gets pressured. Thanamo finds that kill. Eva Radicals back on their feet. 4 kills in, and they look as strong as ever.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you don't want to fight Eva Radicals in Kalahari because they do so well here. And you can see the points just really pick up. Their placement average here in Kalahari is the highest out of every map that they play on. So it's not really surprising that they're doing here so well. So who's next is again just going into position as what they saw a while ago. They were applying that pressure, and unfortunately for them, they didn't get a lot of those kills, but it's a good thing that they went away without any scratches. But it's just one person that they need to worry about. AV Crusaders, it's the only gonna be the only person there is Meow going in there for a passive approach, but Tokyo knows very well that it could be one person there.
Just let the kitty live. Meow. Unfortunately, AKO Lig is in the mix as well. Meow's big brothers. Hey, maybe this is the blessing that Meow has been sent. Some backup from AKO. A little bit of distraction from AKO will allow this little
we really, find a way to see what kind of gameplay all of these teams have, knowing very well that there's only one more chance for them to go in there for all of these points because it is going to be that last game. So yeah, let's see what happens.
AKO now spotting out all around them. They've got the information gameplay. And they are trying to figure out exactly who will come across them early on. But all of the teams just playing possum early on, right? They don't really want to expose themselves. They don't want to take these early gunfights. Everybody's playing for placement points. They know exactly how important this final game of the day is.
Yeah, I mean, it is do or die for a lot of these teams because it might be just a little bit too late if they wait until tomorrow to just go and perform. So, I mean, I feel like Equinox was doing such a good job, but then for them to really go out so early, like we're in this game, that is very detrimental to them, which could have affected whether or not they can actually, stay into that top 10. But you know what? They did enough, I think, to just be a little bit more comfortable. But speaking of a team that has been performing super well, it's Betty yet again trying to just find some really good loot, and so far, no one's going to be near them at all.
Nobody's near them. BT Esports still throwing caution in the air, just making sure they have got Let's Go spotting all around them. 6 glue walls on his hand. And if they do get caught out here, that's not something that BT Esports will not be able to manage. And that's something that you really want to look for on Kalahari, right? With all of this vertical my lord, VPH comes in to say hello, and BT Esports with Let's Go trying to spot all around him, wondering if or not he has spotted them. Let's Go right up top, and I don't think that was meant in the brightest of idea, but he flies on, and as he tries to get away from them, gets knocked down onto the ground, and BT Esports know of the existence of VPH right up top.
Here we go again, the rematch that we like to see. VPH Velocity lost that a while ago into our last matchup in Bermuda, but it seems like the tides have turned here for VPH, and finally Makarori going down. 4 bits is the only person that can go and make a difference. VPH Velocity on another level here in Kalahari, and they can finally get and put a nail into that coffin. One more player down, but it's a good thing that, the takeoff. One more team. He was able to go and revive Orbits. Really good team play here. Not being a little bit aggressive, but if McRory needs to return the favor and try to pick up Orbits.
Yeah, McRory can't do much. The numbers game catching up with him as well as VT Esports fall. VPH Velocity, they secure their revenge because, in the earlier map itself, it was supposed to be their booyah, but they kind of got caught off guard, and in the exact same fashion, they catch VT Esports off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just like a revenge plot from BPH Velocity because a while ago, we saw them right into the bottom of the hill where they basically were stuck. But for VT, it was like it's like this opposite. They were at the bottom of the hill, and now BPH just had a better vantage point. And that's what makes me thinking. It's like maybe BPH Velocity and VP are in the same league when it comes to having a skill mechanically. It's just a matter of positioning for both of these teams. But speaking of mechanical skills, Wheels is definitely going to be a team that's really talented with that, but it's just really questionable positions, questionable plays, but hopefully Embalor finally makes a really good one. But Hawk, that's going to be very difficult, as we can see here. Hawkeye really just going out there, still having a lot of life.
Santino trying to wrap around Hawkeye. Fortunately, the numbers game catch up with him as well, and Santino manages to bag that kill. And the rest of the players from Who's Next inside of the danger zone now. Views have got a small compound to work with, so they don't really need to worry about the barrages from the safe zone. But in the terms of Who's Next, they better look for cover.
Definitely. They need to figure out what kind of strategy they want to have next, because you can see that Wills is on a roll right now, but we know Wills very well that once they become a little bit too over-aggressive, they kind of falter to the very end, especially now. VPH Velocity right on top here, trying to go in there for the third party.
And it looks like VPH might be able to secure a great position over Go Willem Views. As Go Willem Views now try to reposition themselves, the height advantage being held by VPH. And now Go Willem Views knows they are being watched, not moving out of their compound. The worst thing that could happen right now is Who's Next comes in here to shut them down. VPH takes out the drone sent in by the players of Go Willem Views. The move is not out just yet. They cannot even get to their airdrop. A lot of pressure being played by Faithan. And the rest of the VPH players coming in here for the flank.
And here we go, VPH Velocity looking like they're on fire right now. And the best for Will is for them to wait, because the moment they get out of that hut, that is when they're going to be taking a lot of shots, because VPH has a really good sight line on them. But there you go. They don't even have to move right now because the circle is in their favor. So VPH, if they push over aggressively, now that might pay. That might have actually to not be good for them. VPH Velocity, really good stuff here so far, applying that pressure. But, for Wheels, they're just staying there pretty. They're doing a really good job at staying passive.
Ritu's from the back, and it looks like the flank is perfect. Embalore is the first one to get taken down, and he's most definitely the first guy you want down on the ground if you are taking on the players of Gobilam Views. Ritu's now closing the distance with the shotgun in hand, will be able to bring on a lot of damage, and from the back, Santino's right there. Ritu's doesn't take that shot, finally decides to knock him down. Santino on the ground, and this is it for the players of Gobilam Views. Ritu's, what a player, secures the quadra for himself.
But here we go. Who's next is already around the corner, and VPH Velocity needs to take this momentum and try to take down who's next. But we are taking a look right now at New Gen. They've been doing a really good job here so far, and they need to take out Axis because there are only 2 players left, and they do have the numbers advantage. So it's going to be easy for them to go into for the takedown. But then knowing Axis, they can actually go and perform well, even though they're just 2. But then the problem is they're actually far apart. So that's going to be a little bit tricky if one of them goes down.
Yeah, the saving grace here, it's New Gen trying to control you, right? And Axis mechanically better. With a 2 versus 3 situation, they should be able to turn things around. And now with the zone pressuring New Gen as well, Gal will not have to deal with the players of New Gen as he continues making his way in. Mikey trying to reposition himself as well. And New Gen, you know they're going to try to steal this kill off Reagan with the decision to knock Gal down onto the ground. It is going to pay dividends to him as that zone finishes off Gal. And it looks like it was a better decision called off by the players of New Gen. And of course, we see Monkey Tribe stuck on a high ground, but on higher ground, Eva Radicals, they take over.
Ooh, take a look at that Führer. Really good movement and really just not stopping. And ooh, really good timing right now of the grenade. And finally gets rid of one. And it's a good thing that Pam is going to be there for the pickup. But Führer is not going to stop until he gets everyone and finally gets 2. And then there you go. He does get shots though, but it's a good thing that the rest of his team is just right there to try and go in for the heal.
Oh, trying to shoot his ankles. Sadamo with the angles. And now it is going to be this one glue wall. But glue wall after glue wall. But Pan, he does not manage to pull out all of that magical dust that he got from Peter Pan. Gets shut down. Eva Radicals, 8 kills in. And they are looking great to set themselves up for a booyah. But will they be able to take on VPH Velocity now, who also have 8 kills in their hand?
Look who's storming right through as if they were being called right now. Okay, you want to have another rematch? Let's do it. In the other game, we saw the VPH Velocity won that, when obviously Eva Radicals wants to have a different story written, but we are looking right now into the game. Here we go. Finally taking a lot of shots, but it's a good thing that VPH Velocity is actually getting most of it, and bad for Eva Radicals right now. They're going down 1 by 1.
Ritu's with the shotgun also has got the range engagement on him. Barba right in front. VPH! Dynamo won't be able to shut down Janelle instead. Ritu's just does not find the angle. And it looks like the players of VPH will be pressured by the zone. And Binata as well as Paytan, they move the other way. Are they going to get caught out by Eva Radicals once again? Yes, they will. Playing the advantage right behind the stairs. But the safe zone going to be pressuring them either way. Dynamo right in front. Not much HP left on the guy. He has to stop for that med kit as well. Phaeton taking advantage, but Tanamo has his back. Phaeton turns around with the grenade launcher, manages the situation really well.
Oh, Binata is going to be the only guy that can actually go and make a difference. Finally, they take some shots, but then he should have probably gotten his eyes on Phaeton right now. He's the only one that can go and apply that pressure for them. Binata as well. And there you go. But then it's a good thing that Funky is right there. What? Gatekeeping everyone. Here you go. That's going to be a very big kill from them. Binata as well in a very cheeky spot. Just like that, Evo Radical still loses the gunfight against VPH Velocity. And this is a different team right now, AJ.
Ah, that was salty, man, because AKO threw a couple of chip shots in there as well, and the players of Eva Radicals not gonna be too happy, but you know, they don't care. Everyone for themselves. As AKO now, a good backstab. Backstab pulls out the beat as well. Just gets the speed boost, knocks down Phaeton onto the ground, and now the players of VPH need to come in here and question him. Just not waiting for them to come in. He still does have the beat on him. Brings the fight to VPH, and AKO secure the booyah.
This was such a a great end into our day number 7 going in here for Booyah. Ligers going in there very aggressively. AKO Ligers, they were complete until the very end. Saya Dren, Shares, Toby Cuties, they've been doing such an amazing job here so far. And yes, they haven't been doing a good job into the first few moments into this day, but they made sure that they can end it with a bang. That is so great to see.
Yeah, playing their positioning to the T, and towards the very end, it was AKO that just popped off. And it's all about how you manage your mechanical capabilities in that final zone. And it was the smarts of dropping the beat. You get to recover your HP. You also get to have that a little bit of boost in the speed of your steps. And this really catches your opponents off guard, because the guy pulled out the glue wall and he thought he has got enough time to recover, right? He did not expect the beat to be dropped, and that speed boost gets caught out from the left. And he doesn't stop there. He continues running towards his opponent, because usually in situations like this, you see them right after one takedown beef, they slow down. They pull up the glue walls. They try to see, okay, what's my opponent's call gonna be? This guy waited for absolutely no one.
Exactly, and that is the difference between you getting that kill or for your opponent be able to heal up just a little bit. And that's why it worked out so well, because your opponent assumed that you're gonna be, staying there just for a little bit and for you to just heal up as well. But no, he went in there and the cards played right. And that's why we need to see different strategies really go and approach. If you are a little bit too passive, that moment could have been very different. We would have been seeing a different winner here right now. But for them to just change their approach, where we don't get to see it that much into the past few games, they were aggressive at the right time, at the right place, and they definitely deserve this win.
Absolutely right. And cheers, it's all about the decision making, and you also have to think about what sort of weapons you have in your hands. And having the double vectors, you need to close the distance between yourself as well as your opponents. And Cheers just really not wasting time at all, knowing the kind of position he is in within that final zone. If he cuts down the distance, he's in the best spot to get the win. He knows there's a little bit of backup from his team members out there on the field as well. Super brave, super aggressive. Things could have turned around against him if at all there was a grenade launcher in the hands of the opponent. It was a blessing in disguise. That was not the situation. Double vectors to the face. Cheers with the praise, and AKO obviously bagging the booyah just to wrap up the day. But, catching up to that number 1 spot just seems to be asking for a little bit too much, no beef?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely VD Esports not gonna be able to put down that number 1 spot, because there was a little bit big of a gap in between those points. So I mean, the best could probably be keeping that 2nd spot, but I mean, you are comfortable right there. I mean, all you need to be is to just get into the final spot, get into the February 6th basically, and they've done that. So the thing with Ligers though, with the AKO Ligers, they just need to be a little bit more consistent, because what I've seen with them, they do really great. But the thing is, they kind of lack in Purgatory, which is going to be the matchup tomorrow. So if they perform well now, they were kind of shaky today, what more tomorrow, right? So hopefully they do perform well, even though Purgatory is not their best suit.
Yeah, and they just have to find the best way to manage their positioning around Purgatory. And one of the best ways they can do that is just play the tactics of Eva Radicals, right? Get those vehicles for yourself, and for a fact that just purely playing the vehicles is not going to be the best idea of all. Once your vehicles are set ablaze, you are quite GG. So how Eva Radicals manages the situation with the vehicles when you get into Purgatory is they always have Aguila over-aggressive in getting information with the vehicle, and then always rounding back to the rest of the players who are on their feet as they just walk around, shutting down place after place. And they brought in that same aggressive stance in here as well. Taking on Monkey Tribe was no problems whatsoever. But later on, against VPH, man, that was a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, they keep losing against VPH. It's because they don't really have good positioning when they do eventually find this up against this team, which they've been just popping off. VPH Velocity, especially with the win as well, that was really impressive to see. So going to see the round standings right now, it's really impressive that VPH Velocity is still number 1, even though AKO Ligers got that first booyah. And it's because they just get a lot of those kills here so far. You see 11, the most out of everyone. But right below them is going to be Eva Radicals with 9 as well. So even though Eva Radicals didn't really win that gunfight against VPH Velocity, it's still like 4-point differential between the two.
Yeah, it's a lot being done in here by VPH Velocity, and especially looking at the fact that, Bloodyhead, they didn't do enough to run away from the players of VPH Velocity. They now have to deal with VPH Velocity just literally right at their heels. I believe by the time we end this, they're just going to be a couple of points apart. So great, done here by VPH to set up the final day of the league stages tomorrow for themselves. And they built up the momentum from game 3, and game number 3 earlier on, and they just didn't let go of that momentum, right? They continued it on in here. AKO Ligers finally stepping it right back up. A few of those revenges kind of executed out there on the battlefield as well, but it wouldn't be possible out there if Eva Radicals wasn't in the mix, as they took on some of these great big fights as well. Weite Esports bagging it out very early on in this round just puts AKO Ligers in a better position, but catching up to them is going to be asking for way too much. Maybe tomorrow, though, if a consistent drop in performance is detected in Weite Esports, Eva as well as AKO continue rising, who knows how we will finish off the league stages. Who's next in that 4th spot, followed by New Gen with 12 and 10 points. AB Crusaders getting the 6th position with 7 points, Beef.
That is pretty impressive, and you can see here that New Gen still has the upper hand though. So it's these two teams at the bottom. 10 points and 7 points. I know there's like 3 points in between them, but still New Gen really just picking it up. I mean, 5th place. They're playing for placement points, and not just that, they're also getting a bunch of kills as well. 4, that is pretty impressive already. So New Gen slowly but surely, but is it enough to just break into that 12th spot? Not quite sure if that's going to be the case. But taking a look at our recap for today, round number 1 and 2, obviously Eva Radicals have just been absolutely crazy here, and they opened the day up with a bang. But going into our round number 3, Ego Oblivion, that they've been doing such a good job today as well. If they weren't winning the booyahs, they were in the middle of the pack, they were getting those kills. And into that round number 4 in Kalahari, Trot WYS was really surprising for me, because in the moments of the first few games, they didn't really have much of a presence, but they definitely made their presence here. They are at the 13th spot, so with this win, definitely gonna boost them up a little bit more.
Ooh, and you say boost, they are sitting down in the 13th spot, just 5 points behind Reveolis, who hold on to that 12th position. Really exciting to see how things are going to be breaking down there, because as you guys can see, Monkey Tribe, Black Angel, not too far away. It's going to be a heated battle towards the final stage of the league stages itself. Tomorrow is the one very last day, only 4 rounds for them as an opportunity to make it into the top 12, because only the top 12 will survive into the grand finals. Let's take it from the bottom. AB Crusaders in the 17th spot, 114 points overall, followed by New Gen in the 16th place, 139. Now, although 2 of these teams have been showing us consistency, it's just 4 more rounds left in here, and as the fight for the top 12 is so heated, it will be tough for them to make it into that mix as well, to qualify for the grand finals. But it's great to see them build that momentum up, and hopefully in the future competitions we will be able to see the bout of improvement they will be able to bring in. Black Angel in the 15th, Monkey Tribe 14th spot, followed by Trot WYS in the 13th place, all aiming for the position held on by Rev Aeolus. Axis trying to make a run away from all of these teams, but they seem to be finding it hard as well. So for Rev Aeolus, the only breakaway here is catching up with Axis. And as far as Ego Oblivions is concerned, they've done just enough for the day to make sure the 12th spot is something they do not need to worry about.
And you can see here on the left side, in the 9th spot, the Vindicators having 0 booyahs, but still managed to bag a lot of points, 215 to their name, and kill points 95. So in between Ego Oblivions and also the Vindicators, it's a pretty safe bet. So I'm pretty sure that this is a really safe bet to the left side. Equinox going for that 8th, having 234 points in total. Who's next on the 7th? Bloodyhead with the 6th, still basically on the same placement. VPH Velocity on the 5th, Govila Wheels going down a notch, being in that fourth place. And also Eva Radicals on the third, AKO Ligers on the second. You can see here 10 points in between them. Now that is definitely going to be doable for Eva Radicals to overtake AKO Ligers in the future. And obviously at the very top, still sitting very comfortably, VT Esports with 9 booyahs and 399. If it's still possible for AKO Ligers or Eva Radicals to overcome them, definitely yes. But VT Esports needs to, suck tomorrow for that to happen and for them to just not get any points.
Well, and in order for that to happen, teams like AKO Ligers need to continuously perform. And for Kanoho, all he needs to do is just continue being himself. Kanoho, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, picking up the MVP on behalf of the players of AKO Ligers and also breaking the record. And he now holds the title for the player with the most number of MVP titles from the group stages, with a total of 4 on his side. This is the 4th one with 6 kills, 1 assist, 2,737 on the damage. But the hit rate is what makes Kanoho such a crazy opponent out there on the battlefield. He doesn't shoot much, but when he shoots, he barely misses.
Yeah, and that's going to be very difficult if you're on the other side of his scope, right? And we keep seeing that MVPs having 40% hit rate. But when I saw that 80%, 82%, I was like, what is this guy on? When he set his sights on you, best believe that you're basically done for. But you know what? If you want to be as good as him into playing Free Fire, all you need is the Infinix Mobile, and it is our official sponsor of the Free Fire Philippines Open. Fire up your game with the Infinix best-selling gaming smartphone, the Infinix Note 11S.
Yes, the Infinix Note 11S is a powerful smartphone with the Helio G96 Ultra gaming processor. And you get to fire up your game and get this now, which is 9,990 pesos, B.
That's so cheap. Honestly, I wish when I was younger. Can I just say, you youngins have it such an easy time, because in our age, back in our day, back in the good old days, having a really good smartphone or a phone in general is so expensive, and to have that power in your fingertips just for 9,990 pesos is just absolutely crazy. And to play a game like Free Fire there, you're definitely going to be having an advantage.
That is the point, right? Because back then, even if we couldn't get the phones, they were those black and white phones. That means we could probably play Snake or something. But you guys, 9,900 pesos, 9,990 pesos is just super crazy low, right? But as we, jokes aside, all of that information aside, if you guys want to jump into the pro scene, it is going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a little bit of grinding, and it's not always going to be a bed of roses if you find yourself struggling out there. But as you can see from teams like Golden Views, Bloody Head, even VPH Velocity, as they have proven in here so far, the path to perfection isn't going to be achieved in a day, beat. It is more of a process over months, potentially even years, as they try to aim for that #1 spot.
Definitely. And you always want to get into the best spot. And even if you can't reach #1, just make sure to do your best, because by the end of tomorrow, we're going to see teams leave. And it's always hard to see teams that have worked so hard. But hopefully you don't get discouraged, because you get to see teams who had a hard time last season that is absolutely smashing now. And that should be enough, reason for you to just get better every day, even though you don't really reach it. And I know we're at the very end of our journey here in the group stages, in the league stages, that it should just be more fire for you to just prove everyone wrong and be part of the big, 12 into the next competition. So yeah, it's been a really great day here so far. I'm so happy to be here, part of the Free Fire fam yet again, especially with you, AJ. It's been an honor.
Likewise, Beef, as always, and we will continue rocking it all the way down into the grand finals. Black Angel, I've got my eyes on you tomorrow. Let's see if you can make the cut to the top 12. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Beef Mommy, signing off. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, same place, same time.
John Michael El Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is team captain. One fun fact about myself is I started playing games since I was young and even won a physical prize. Ang gaming setup ko ay simple lang. Phone ko, earphones, isang unan, pulbos, at isang boteng tubig. Nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire noong November 2017. Pinakilala kasi ito sa akin ng aking kaibigan. And proud akong sabihin na isa ako sa mga beta player. The game is very fun and competitive. At kahit sobrang tagal ko na naglalaro ng Free Fire, bawat match o laro is still as exciting as the day noong nagsimula ako maglaro ng Free Fire. Ang best moment ko ay nung ginamit ko ang grenade launcher to do a squad wipe in FFPO Grand Finals Game 2 and it gave my team a momentum to get a booyah in that round. Isa sa pangarap ko ang maging professional esports player. Madami ako nasalihan at naipanalong tournament kaya nang sumikap ako hanggang sa nabot kay pagiging pro player. Isa pang dahilan ay kumikita ako ng pera habang ginagawa ko yung hilig ko. After matapos ng MCP Season 1, umalis yung dalawa kong player at dahil invited ang team ko sa MCP Season 2, naganap ako ng 2 player para ma-meet yung requirement. Nirecommend ng kaibigan ko yung dalawang player na kakilala niya na may experience sa tournament kaya agad ko sila ni-recruit upang mabuo ang SAP Get Wish na ang tawag ngayon ay Betty Esports. Yung time na sa sobrang 74 bits, nampas niya ng unan sa mukha si Damon nung nagawa namin maging top 3 sa Group A play-ins ng Free Fire Asia Championship. Want to know how I play? Catch me on Free Fire Challengers Philippines. Tara, Free Fire!
Right now is in there going in, taking down
Oh,
Crusaders,
wow.
but no, Sao has been taken down. AKO right now is in prime position.
Blake's not going to be happy about that, but there's nothing he can do. Mark shuts down Bayer before he can get away, and those snipes. The backup might just come through. They go in for the pickup, but what a play! Axis gets taken out of the equation as well. Reveyolas gets into the fight against Equinox. Equinox shutting them down one after the other. Pax will get caught as well, and it looks like the players are making sports with McRory. To stop that, Tokyo now back on the ground. McRory from afar. Grenade launcher not in play just yet. McRory, the Kobe of AJ Esports, finally pulls out that nade. Is he going to be able to hit it? Yes, he hits it! Yeah, Rocky takes those shots against Newgen. Newgen! Newgen! They will be able to bag a lot, but Newgen themselves gets eliminated by Trot WYS. And now Eva Radicals making their way in here to the final zone. Golden Views, Whisket as well taken out. A double nade being sent by Tanamo as well as Rabiel. But Trot WYS finishes them as well with those nades, Neptune. JC Jacob, he just has got shit in front of him, pulls out the camouflage, and the plan goes for the pickup right now. And they will have 2 players on their side, but not a lot of cover.
Oh, and there goes the hit.
Okay,
Eagle will be flying out and will be hit. Will be able to run away, AJ, but how long?
Michael L. Serra, also known as McRory. I am 23 years old. I am from Team Betty Esports and my position is team captain. One fun fact